All right, should be active up over on YouTube. Let me get everything going for you. We got TikTok open if you guys want to go ahead and double tap the screen. Comment, interact, help get some people in here. Would appreciate it. That would be nice. That would be swell. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Go ahead and get my stuff up over here. Ooh. Sorry, everyone. Posted a video a long time ago singing and it was good. I haven't, it's kind of wonky. I think I'll fix that. It's pretty good, but it's a little wonky. Okay. Yeah, I haven't posted anything in a minute of me doing music, which I've been meaning to get back into, to be honest with you. I just haven't done it yet. Yeah, I haven't posted anything in a minute. It might have happened if the trajectory kept going from last year, but it didn't, so it is what it is. And it all works out. I've had a day. I'm gonna wait for Jaden to join. If you guys are over on TikTok, if you want to do me a solid, double tap the screen, comment, interact, help get some people in here, would appreciate it. Dude, the views right now on TikTok are fucking atrocious. I don't even know that it's worth trying at this point. I don't even know that's worth trying at this point, to be honest with you. Okay. And it all works out. I mean, yeah, there's no views. All of it's going out to right-wingers. So they've actually done a thing where they've removed. So right now, if you notice on the TikToks, almost all the videos are short form, really short. Because they're not giving out ad views to people. They may in the next few days, but like they go by batches. So like every 2 weeks, more ads will come in, and yeah, it's just really hard right now when there's like it's like 1,000 views. It's like, okay, this is criminal. No alert. We might have to reset here. We'll see what happens. I'm probably gonna have to reset. It's looking like I'm gonna reset over on TikTok. Oh, I've been through a minute without my hat. Yeah, I need to trim my beard. I just have not had time. This thing in my face is annoying. Anyways, if you guys want to go ahead and double tap the screen, comment, interact, help get some people in here, that would be cool. Apparently no notification went out, which isn't always the worst if it goes out and starts going out quicker, but TikTok be frontin', so I don't know. All right. All right, everyone. I need 30-hour days. I'm going to be real. I don't want to talk about my day all that much because it was a mess. But, yeah, more time. I missed a meeting. It's been a long day. Jaden, how's your day?
I'm doing all right. I just went grocery shopping and took a nap.
Oh.
Now I'm up again.
That's nice.
Yeah, nothing crazy.
Oh,
mine's too much happening in the news.
Mine's been chaos.
Yeah?
Yeah, I had to edit a bunch of videos. Not yet.
Okay.
In the next few days, maybe. There's a lot happened today that I want to process, too.
Yeah, you never called me.
I simplified it to a text message. I simplified it to a text message.
I stayed up another hour expecting it.
Oh, I just said I'd simplify this, and I meant to call, but yeah, that was the whole point of it. Was I was trying to figure out how we were going to incorporate more of the news, more of current events. It's a bit difficult because you have debates that are kind of timeless. Like debates that I can play like in a month from now and they're still going to be relevant, and then debates that aren't, in 2 weeks won't be relevant. So it's been kind of a balancing act. So we wanted to put up a background that was more relevant to the news.
Right.
Um, yeah, I wanted to put up a background that was more relevant to the news. That, I was also thinking about perks. Like if we hit sub goals, what would we do? Like if we hit a sub goal, could we like swap the background or something, and then also
Mm-hmm.
find out some other stuff. I want to get the stream deck up and fixed. I don't have the time to do it because I have to swap out this computer for another one. I bought a different computer like months and months ago that I just have not set up because this one's it's going wonky. So I've been meaning to do that. This one has to be like fully restored. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I have to do that, and that's a whole process. So before I can get the stream deck, but I was thinking about doing some sort of celebratory sound. I don't know.
It'd be nice.
So there's that. Um, at a certain point, we will talk about it.
Okay.
Damn, bro, you're gonna lose engagement. Why don't you go ahead and deal with what you're dealing with, and I'll deal with what I'm gonna deal with. And by the way, that's not even the main chat. At a certain point, maybe there'll be more people in there, but there's 4 people in there right now, so just chill out. Like, calm down. Anyway. Can you grab the camera for a P. Diddy edit? No, but I can grab the baby oil.
Oh.
Yeah, man, it's been a slow news day today, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
it
a
really
few
has.
stories. I mean, we're going to go over it in a minute here. I got someone in the request. If you guys want to help out with the sub goal, by the way, would appreciate it. So you can get some people in there and help out the stream. I will be bringing some perks for when we hit the stream goal or the sub goal, but I have not worked that out yet. So basically, like my entire day was editing videos and scheduling them. Other stuff happened, but that was the main one. So, and then like I'm gonna be real, my day kind of got thrown for a loop. I forgot to drink caffeine in the morning, so I was like, all of a sudden at like 4:30, I was like, you know.
Yeah.
All right, got Fox. We're gonna bring a debate.
I
in
had
here.
2 monsters today.
Lucky. 1 second. Hold on. I gotta turn the. Katie, let me get you added in as a mod in just after this debate. Can someone remind me to add Katie in a mod after the debate?
Yep.
1 second here. All right, Fox, what is going on?
What's up, bud?
What's happening? What's
Yeah,
your
you
take?
Honestly, nothing. I mean, I do have a question. I mean, I've been following you guys for a while now, and good job, from all of you. My thing is like, do you think the Operation Mockingbird still might be a thing nowadays?
Which one's upper?
I haven't heard of that one in a while. Honestly, not sure. I couldn't tell you.
Like with the Trump administration?
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, so this happened today that I kind of like think is true. I know that the media is trying to cater to him. It's not true. This happened. So I noticed this. But yesterday, you remember the ceasefire deal was announced. This was like a day and a half ago. Yesterday, that story was the very first one on Bing News. Today, it is the very first one on Bing News. And those recycled stories of a day, they don't leave them up like that. They'll move down. But it's like the very first position is Trump ceasefire deal. So to me, it kind of signifies like, yeah, they're trying to appease him. I don't know how much of it is like, I don't think there's like government involvement to that degree, but I think very clearly from the media perspective, they're catering to him. And I also think that, I said this yesterday, when we see a breakdown in MAGA unity, it has to do with Russian bots. That's what it has to do with. When you talk about when they were doing the nomination process, right? Russian bots were attacking. They were defending people they wanted in there, removing people they didn't. When we saw, what just happened, the Iran attack, right? They were very much like, no, don't do that, don't do that. And so they're caught in this weird cognitive trap where on one side they have bots promoting misinformation from Russia and, talking points that help Iran, and on the other side, Israel and the United States attacking Iran. And so there's that juxtaposition. That's why you're seeing that infighting. It looks like Russian bots are winning very clearly. I think that's the case, but you are watching more dissent on this than you would other things because it is such a logical contradiction from what they were saying.
Exactly, and that's why I was asking. Like, do you think that still could be going on? Today. Even though it's like a really Cold War by the CIA and all. So I just wanted you guys' thoughts about it all because I kind of think it is, but.
I don't know that it's CIA, but I definitely think that there are branches of the government that are trying to figure out ways they can influence and intimidate journalists very clearly.
Right.
I think that's happened as recently as 2011. Like we saw that happen when they came out against journalists was it Obama? I think it was under Obama. And they went after journalists. I'm going to have to look that up. I just read about it because they were talking about like COINTELPRO, the unaliving of Martin Luther King and Fred Hampton. Yeah, man, those things still happen, I believe. Like COINTELPRO, we see today within, God bless it, within, yeah, fucking dogs, man, within protests, we see right-wing agitators burning stuff down, causing fights. These things are still happening. That was COINTELPRO, where they're literally making people seem, leftists who are protesting, they're making them seem like they're the violent ones by planting people. Yeah, the propaganda we see against communism and socialism today, like the New York mayor, Zohan, he just got, and everybody, we've seen it here, people coming up here calling him a commie. He's not.
Yeah. No, this is like calling them a commie, a socialist, or whatever is just a really, it's equivocation, right? You, instead of making it about actual policies, you label them, you call them a name, people run with it, and then there's a degree of fear, right? Because most Americans are dumb and don't understand what communism or socialism is. And as a result, when people yell that works for older people, right, that lived through the Red Scare. And I think that this is more of a concerted effort of the right is controlling media. They're doing a very good job at it. Unfortunately, apps like TikTok that would be calling him out, they are suppressing views from channels. It's very clear. I'm watching it across all of the platforms on TikTok. Anybody that is leftist is being suppressed. Aaron Parnas, Harry Sisson. I haven't checked Under the Desk News. The news gal I don't think is. I am. A ton of other people are. Last year I was averaging, I think for the course, 50,000. Towards the end of the year it was about 250,000, but there was an election cycle per video. And this month I have averaged about 5,000 views a video. I haven't changed anything. So granted, I haven't been as consistent, but even months ago when this was all going on with TikTok, it wasn't unreasonably like 10K views. So it very clearly is the Republicans are making a move towards media, and they're being very effective with it. I think the real indicator here is like it doesn't matter what the truth is, just that they regurgitate it. It's truth by repetition, right? It's truth by repetition. It's a lack of shame. So I mean, if they had some shame, I can't imagine being that catastrophically wrong and not being like, I should think about that for a minute. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand that logic.
I just wanted to ask, man. I just wanted to get you guys' point of views on that and see if it was still something. So I appreciate that. You guys keep doing what you're doing. Stay golden. I'll see you later.
All right. Take care, man. I don't know if I uploaded that one. Oh, man, I've been busy all day. I've had stuff to do. All right. We do have, by the way, I'm going to turn on the chat for you again in the sub goal here. We do have a sub goal of 30 subs on the night. If you guys want to support, you guys can gift subs as well. But we're trying out the sub goal route so that we sort of, be like, here you go. And then YouTube, TikTok start sending it out to people. Seems like they're doing a pretty good job of doing that. You can also help out with the gift goal over here. We got supers over on YouTube. I am looking in to TTS. I just need a few questions. Because of the debates, I don't want TTS to be running all the time. David, appreciate with the 5 gifted. Can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for David with the 5 gifted? Appreciate it. Over on TikTok, too. Appreciate it, David. Can we get some dubs? Thank you, David. Appreciate that. That actually counts as 10 because on TikTok it's 2 because it's more expensive, so we count as 2. But appreciate it. Get some dubs for David. That's cool. And if you guys got a sub, say dub. I don't want TTS going off, which is text to speech. I don't want that going off while I'm debating because I need those clips for YouTube. So like there'll be some debates where it's like, okay, I already have 2 on the night that are recorded. I don't need any more. At those points, we'll probably turn them on during the debate just to make it fun. Who knows? Maybe it ends up being hilarious and we just do it as a regular thing and post those videos.
Yeah.
No, this guy's debate talked over and worth my time. This is not MAGA at your Thanksgiving dinner table, okay? But yeah, if you guys want to support, you can sub. There's a Venmo Cash App in the bio. Patch, I don't know if Patch, you're in here. Patch, appreciate the 25 over on Cash App from earlier. I didn't see it at the time. I apologize for that. I am live on the other phone, so I meant to turn this off here. Have the light on. So,
Yeah.
any fun news?
Not really fun. There's news. Do you want the breakdown?
We can do it in a little bit. We don't need to do it this particular moment. Just going to see if we can get some debates in here and get it out to people. But if you guys want to go ahead and double tap the screen, comment, interact, help get some people in here. There was a story that I did want to talk about and getting that into the recording. I'll talk about it in a second. I got to cool this room off a little bit because it's fucking hot as shit. It's musty in Seattle.
How
musty. It's only, so it's, what is it? And I had the air on. I threw a sweatshirt on because I was like, I don't even know why I fucking did that. And then I was like, oh shit, I turned it off for the live and I was like, fuck, it's hot in here. It says it's 70 with 53% humidity. I mean, it's not terrible, but terrible, indoors it's pretty. I hate that, the humidity. Ugh. Trixie with the 10 gifted subs. Trixie, can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for Trixie? Appreciate it, Trixie. Thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Dubs and drumsticks in the chat. Thank you, Trixie. Appreciate it. 100 degrees? Well, I can't complain then. I can't complain. I'm over here complaining. Trixie, appreciate the 10. Thank you. As always, Trixie, can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for Trixie with the 10? We got 20 out of the 30 subs over on the various different platforms. Trixie coming through. I was thinking about doing a thing where we swap out. I may have to reset here because it's just not going out to people. We'll see if we can get someone in here. But if you guys want to double tap the screen, if we get this up to 50K over there, 50K likes, and try and get that to out on the For You page, you can hit the heart button here. I don't know what it does, but supposedly it boosts it out to live. So if you guys could hit that, whatever you got to do. There's also content. So much updates. Sorry, guys. The content is now flowing over on OK High and News Dude. Finally got all of the kinks worked out, or at least enough of them that it's been pretty easy. Do I have a real job? Yeah, I'm a content creator. So yeah, it has been a lot of work, but there's going to be debates flowing out over on News Dude every single day. We're not doing the we're not doing the 5 times a week. I'm going to do one every single day. So hopefully the viewership picks back up in the next month or so there, and then be pretty good. So
actually, yeah, I loaded a bunch of shorts over on the News Dude channel. So if you guys want to go over there and do everything, the likes and shares and all that fun stuff you got to do on the two, let me know what you think about them. Tell me in the comments. They're pretty. I like them. I'm kind of proud of them.
This guy said, Josh has been doing a good job. Yeah. Somebody, I just want to say this real quick. Someone said, I stand with Nick Fuentes. So not very tall, I guess. So not very high up there. Self-tell. Yeah, Josh has been doing a lot of work over there. By the way, I scheduled in videos, the shorts, because I just take them and put them into a thing, and it generates a bunch of clips, and so I've been uploading them. I literally for like for the next 4 or 5 days, because there's so many clips on OK High. I'm gonna back it off because this is a lot. But over on OK High, there's one coming out every hour, like shorts, every hour for the next 5 days. Like I think it's like from
busy,
5 to 11.
I've been busy.
Well, no, on my side, just on
okay.
just on the. There's one coming out every hour for the next 5 days, from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. 1 second, hold on, JP. JP, are you debating?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm debating. I'm telling you that you need to be thrown in jail and never let to see the day of light again.
So fascism?
Do you have a deviated septum?
Tommy, you need to be thrown in jail and never let to see the day of light again.
What crime did I commit?
They need to put you in a
hold on.
cage
Hey,
and throw it off a cliff.
Excuse me. What crime did I commit?
No, fuck you. Shut up.
Hey man, did you ever think maybe really just like triggered. A good would clear up that throat a little bit there, bud?
You need to go in a dog cage, Tommy.
I don't need to go to a dog cage. You should be more worried about me not going over to your mom's house, okay?
Did you see the
more
day
worried
of
about
light?
that. I don't know. So this is fascism, right? I don't know why people say shit that they think is good. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to forget that guy ever existed. I'm going to be 100% real with you. As far as like 10 minutes from now, not going to exist. That's just a robust, But this is fascism, where they're just like, I don't know what you did, but I don't like it, so you should go to prison. That's pretty much it.
Because I feel like it.
Anyway, if you're debating, hop in the box. Oh, JSS, I wanted to give you an update. That lawsuit is about to go in real quick. So you're going to be subpoenaed here. And it's going to go, well, I won't say exactly when, but don't worry, you're going to be subpoenaed here.
Fancy.
Don't worry about it. Already have the complaint drawn up, by the way.
Could have sworn I had nailed it was set for the day. Don't happen to that. Anywho, anybody want to hop in? That's not gonna send me to the Hag?
Anybody hop in and we'll be like...
Straight to the gulag.
Do you know I should go to jail for just existing?
Of course you should. Because I said so.
That's
why not.
Because Trump
it's not.
is in charge.
I mean, it tracks. It's actually like it's a tenet of fascism. The law is only the law if it applies to what we believe. Otherwise, we don't agree with it. No matter what the law is, it does not matter.
All fascist states, like they'll have laws that are, but they'll punish dissents to the regime, essentially. They'll punish them harsher, and then like what we see now, the right-wing agitators, they get let off with pardons. They'll do 6 weeks where somebody who did the exact same crime got 10 years. That's how it works in fascism.
Yeah, and the other thing too is like, just saying someone should go to prison is just a stupid person talking point, right? Because it removes the entirety of like what you would believe or what we know about the law, right? You notice there's no establishment of a crime committed. There's no even allegation of a crime. None of the elements in the legal sense are met. Just that I'm a criminal and need to go to prison, I guess, because I believe what I believe. Which I don't agree with MAGA. I don't think you should go to prison for believing what you believe. There are people in MAGA that I do think should go to prison because of the stuff they've done. But it's enumerable as a crime. I can tell you, like, this is what they did to violate the law, right? Or at least this shouldn't be legal for these reasons, right? But they don't, This is fascist logic of, like, everybody that doesn't agree with me goes to prison. So.
We saw this yesterday with the man was a 50-year-old Purple Heart veteran from South Korea. His parents came over here from South Korea. He got in trouble because of PTSD. He got into the chemical abuse, and got in trouble for it. This was like 15 years ago. He's been clean. He's been sober, living a good life. Got out of therapy, PTSD therapy, all the above, and he self-deported because they told him, if you don't self-deport, we're going to deport you to the country of our choice. So people who attack cops, get pardons. People who had problems with PTSD and substance abuse, they get deported.
Yes.
What a backwards fascist state we live in. Which we'll talk about in a moment here.
Exactly. Let me... 1 second. Sorry, I'm trying to update something. What? Logged in on this computer? No.
No problem. Well, should I cover the news?
Give me 1 second. See if we can get somebody in. I might reset. It just did not go out to anyone. I don't know.
No problem. Let me think of some dreams I had recently.
Oh man, I had a horrible dream. I can't talk about it though.
Oh yeah, you can. You already brought it up.
Yeah.
All right.
happened?
I took a nap and I had a dream that somebody they did boom stuff at the Pentagon. It was really weird. I woke up. I was like,
Damn.
"Ooh, that was a weird fucking." Yeah, I did not like it. I didn't want to talk about it though, because you know.
Oh,
Weird.
No, it's a common dream these days. You're probably not alone. What did I have a dream about?
This is like the fact that this is a conversation is the wildest fucking thing.
Yeah.
Actually, I might talk about shit going on right now. I might actually talk about shit. That's actually crazy that came up, what we were dreaming about. Hold on. Just give me a sec. Here, talk about your dream, and I'll consider it. Sorry, Jaden.
Let's see. I'm trying to find some of my recent dreams. I think I had one recently. I'm getting some pretty damn good sleep. Most of them
Do you
have to
write
do
them
with me
down?
being forced to go back to school. Yeah, I usually write them down. But most of them, I have to go back to school for some god unknown reason. And it's like, I realized I had classes that I never fucking attended and signed up for. And I'm on the verge of losing some hundreds of dollars that went into the class. I just got wasted. Let's see.
I had a
them
dream
all
a couple months ago. I was in a TikTok live, not on the panel, just in the chat. And the host started calling me out. She's like, "You borrowed $400 off of me." I was like, "What?" She started calling me out for borrowing money and never paying them back. I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Oh.
I woke
yeah.
up, I checked my Cash App to see if I actually borrowed money from somebody.
That reminds me, I did have a dream similar to that. I woke up. In the dream, I was waking up, which is kind of Inception. But I woke up one morning and saw that I got a shit ton of messages, and people were trying to cancel me because I did a photo shoot with somebody from high school who was like a terrible fucking person and was like a creep and harassing people. And this person doesn't exist in real life, but I had to check as to whether or not I was actually getting those messages berating me and trying to cancel me for that. I guess not, but shit's scary. How could you do this? I don't know him.
I've had the get canceled fucking dreams. What did they do? I don't understand.
I think
Like
we got
5
a
messages
debate in
at
the
once.
box.
Yeah, I'm gonna let this guy in here in a second. I'm just waiting to get to that.
All right.
I don't know that I'm ready to talk about that. Yeah, I don't think I'm ready to talk about that. I think I will in the future. Give me 1 second. Where'd he go?
You remember the dog that I fostered that doesn't speak Spanish or doesn't speak English, only speaks Spanish, and I had to learn commands in Spanish, like telling her to sit. Somebody's over right now. They're coming to foster or to give it a forever home.
Oh, that's
Oh,
sweet.
nice.
Yeah, I know.
How old's the
Yeah.
dog?
She's just over a year old.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
That's why that's kind of crazy at my house. I apologize.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm trying to fix stuff. I do have someone in the box that have no followers. Come back on your other account. You're not coming in on that one. You can't join again, I'm gonna block you. Not coming in on a burner. You can come in on your main account. Yeah, but if you're debating, hop on in the box. I'd appreciate if you guys are on YouTube, hit that like button, leave a comment, interact. We have 20 out of the 30 subs. Oh, man. It's been a day. Oh, it's been a day. I told you you're getting blocked. I don't know why you don't take boundaries seriously, but anyway.
So we got 350 people in here. You want to restart? Yeah, we did, Buzzy. We're going to talk about that in a bit.
By the way, this AI thumbnail generator, worth every penny. Worth every penny. Yeah.
For sure.
By the way, I do use...
What do you mean it's worth every penny? It's free.
No, no, it's not. I pay for it. It only allows you to do like a handful a day, so I ended up paying for it. I don't know what it costs, like 80-something bucks a year or something. I don't know. But no, it's coming really handy. Also, the clip generator I use, by the way, expensive as shit, and I've already ran through a bunch of credits with it. So I don't know. Probably have to like re-up that once every 4 months. Fine with it though. It's like that's expensive too.
Republicans presented a bill at a federal level to test for abortion medication within the water.
I'm not surprised.
Wait, they did what?
Such a weird obsession.
They're trying to pass a bill. They presented a bill to Congress saying that they want to test for abortion medication within the water in city limits, so they can pinpoint where it's coming from, who's doing what.
All right, it's me. I've been doing it, okay? Plan B, I've been tapping that shit all down into our reservoir. It's just...
I think you have to take it.
I don't know what I'm doing anymore, man.
You're just crushing it up, throwing it
I
in
just figured it'd dissolve into the water and, you know, they just drink it and pop. But, you know, I come clean.
You know, this AI generator thing is like... It's like good, but it's not great.
No, you got to go back and fix them.
Yeah, but even like when I give it, like you type in updates for it, like even when I do that, it just fucks it up. Like even now, it just fucks it up. Like when you type in like do this, it doesn't do it right at all. Like it doesn't do it right at all. Anyways, should I reset? I don't know what's going on here.
Perhaps.
Maybe.
This dude is just spamming about the English over on the other chat. I don't know why. Bro, you lost. 2 wars, we had to save your ass. Okay? 2 wars. Nothing makes me more American than a Brit talking about America. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? It's like your younger siblings. You don't get to talk shit about them. I do.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Nah, they're still frosty from the Revolutionary War.
Yeah, they're really upset about that. Really upset about that. We sent so many poor people there. Ah. I'm not American at all until the British.
What do they call
speak.
the Revolutionary War in the UK?
It's a good question.
I don't know. Probably the downfall. The downfall of empire.
Was it their Civil War?
England. They call it the American War of Independence or simply the American War. Okay.
That's lazy.
Yeah. Doesn't sound as cool.
The war of colonial aggression. That is such a... It's weird how, like, after they lose a war, they do that, where they rebrand stuff, you know? Like, nobody can ever be like, we were wrong. You know what? We shouldn't have fought that. We shouldn't have done that. People always, they either have to gaslight and create some reason that they did it, right? Or just fucking make it up. Like, you know, remember the Cornerstone speech? Who wrote that again?
Alexander Stevens.
Okay, I was going to say that, but I didn't want to fuck it up. But Alexander Stevens wrote that. After the war, he was very clear about why they were going to war. After the war, what did he say about the Cornerstone speech? He didn't actually even mention
Taxes.
it. He just said, he literally was like, no, it's tax. There was a whole bunch of reasons, and actually, like, they do that. Why? Because they've been humiliated.
States' rights.
Right, they've been humiliated, and publicly they have to try and reestablish footing. And so they do this where they go, oh, well, actually, and it's this weird psychological thing that people do. But even in that, right, where they just rename stuff or they, whatever. I think we should reset.
Yeah, Raina says reset. She's the boss.
Yeah. We're going to reset over on TikTok and see if we can get it back out. When we come back over here, if everybody can double tap the shit out of the screen, blow it up, hit the GIFs, get people in here, get debates, would appreciate it. If we don't get anyone here in the first 10 minutes, I think we'll just go straight into the news and then hope people join throughout it. So
if you're not following, make sure you follow. Follow the host. Follow the panel.
Make sure you follow.
We'll be back.
My other accounts are in my link stream and bio, so you guys can get lots of content. I feel like we're good at commentating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. See you then.
All right. I will be right back. And it all sounds just waiting for this to clear up. Oh, I started. How does Oscar not have a sub? And Dustin, and Michelle. There's lots of people without subs. You think about all of the gifted subs that have gone out. Like, you guys are in here a lot. Can you post this so you can run it back later? It is Patreon. In the Patreon and the link tree in the bio. If you're on Patreon or you're tier 2 over on YouTube, you guys can access the playbacks. Why is there no background? What the flip? What the flip? What the freak, dude? Oh no. Okay. I thought I lost my backgrounds again. Nutcracker appreciated. My coworker asked me why all the Plan B pills kept getting stolen. I told her it was probably because they were easier to steal than vacuums. Damn. Also, the morning lives you can watch back. They're just public. So yeah, if you want to sub, it's a good way to do it. Nutcracker, appreciate the 5. Can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat? And again, if you guys subbed on any of the platforms, do appreciate it. All right. Remember, guys, everybody over on TikTok, go ahead and double tap the screen, comment, interact, help get some people in here. Susan, what's their name? We ride at dawn. What is the chat? So that chat over there is the YouTube short chat over on OK Hi. I'm running it on 2 different platforms because one of them's short. It's too difficult to manage. one account running both streams. It's a lot. I had to simplify it. It sucks because I had to like make the determination to do that, but because I can't monetize over on the YouTube Shorts right now, so it's not showing up on YouTube Shorts. It sucks. Text and emails you. What the fuck? Did you block them?
Well, welcome back, everybody. Assuming you are back. If you're not, you're an asshole. And I can say that because you're not watching. And you can't hear me call you an asshole, you asshole, for not showing up.
Yeah, that does sound stalkerish, Susan.
Yeah. How's everybody doing?
Yeah, how's everyone doing? If you guys want to go ahead and double tap the screen, comment, interact, help get some people in here, that would be awesome. Share the live. Copy the link. So it's better to just watch over there then? Yeah, if you guys want to watch over on... I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think they're going to send the YouTube short side out until either some time from now or until it's monetized, because they really can't make any money if it's not monetized. So I'm hoping that you know, we have enough videos that are doing well, that are growing, that are whatever, that it starts sending people out over there. But I really don't think I'm going to get very much views over on YouTube Shorts until it gets monetized. So... over on OK High. OK High was supposed to be a collective, but John had it, and then, like, it was ours, and then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to take it. And then he was like, okay, well, there we are.
All right.
If you guys over on YouTube want to hit that like button, comment, interact, help get some people in here, that would be awesome. It's fucking slow. It's the summer, too. The summer is always slow.
Yep.
Always slow.
That'll do it.
Yep, just hoping the channel grows. What can you do? What can you do? Where'd Josh go? Huh. Anyways, if you guys are over on TikTok, you want to double tap the screen. Let's even get up to 50K likes. Would appreciate it. Ron,
welcome
appreciate
back.
the sub. Thank you for the 15 months. Can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for Ron? Appreciate it. I'm going to add that into the gift goal.
How's everybody doing?
Do this. We got 21. Doing good.
21.
Just give me a second. But yeah, there is a Venmo Cash App in the bio. Would appreciate it. That'd be cool. Or you can super chat. TTS is going to go up. And I think we're going to do a day where we do like $1 TTS. Like maybe a little more. Because I don't want to like blow it up like that.
Yeah.
Like, because $1 would be a lot. But like, I don't know. Maybe we'll just like a cheap TTS or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I need to get that set up in the next couple days. I just got to, there's stuff I don't know about it that I haven't had time to look up. So, but Ron, appreciate it. Thank you for the sub.
Well.
All right. We got Jackwagon. Dog Lover. Appreciate the 5 gifted over on YouTube. Can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for Dog Lover? Appreciate it for the 5 gifted over there. Thank you. Dubs for them. I do want to get something set up for the sub goal when we reach it. So like some sort of perk. I'm not sure what it is yet though. We got somebody in the box named Jackwagon. What a Jackwagon.
Right,
that's like the worst. It's like the worst insult.
Listen here, you jackwagon.
Yeah, if I hear it all the time, people are always over 60 use it. I don't know. Just didn't really
your ass
track.
is grass.
Oh, I don't think they meant to join because they left. But if you guys are debating, go ahead and hop on in the box. Got the alert this time. Nice. Nice. How has he made my life worse? Well, yeah, actually, he did not solve the TikTok ban, so I'm currently not getting ad revenue from that. The tariffs have caused pretty much everyone on the left to like be scared and concerned about their economic future, so had a lot of revenue drop off that way. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. He's personally affected. He has personally cost me money. So.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it's been hard out here since this asshole became president. And it's one of those things where it's like leftist media is like It's really hard. It's really difficult. Like you're not. It's interesting. It's like you're not getting paid for it really. At least right now. Like put out a video, get it like 5,000 views. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but it's all across literally all of TikTok. And I keep seeing like a billion videos where it's like, if you want to grow, like what the fuck is this? So those are like blowing up on TikTok, but yeah, I don't know. It's difficult for leftist media though, because they're just not making any money doing it right now, really. I mean, it's like really difficult to do unless you're like a major creator. You're not making money.
No, I say it's officially time we join the grift. Revert our party affiliation to the Republican Party.
revert to the party affiliation. Yep. Yeah.
We'll be bringing in big fucking bucks.
Dog lover.
No time.
Appreciate it. I had one hell of a day. I usually don't talk about how bad the day went. It did not go well. I got a lot done, but a lot of shit happened over the last day or so.
Yeah.
Just in life in general. I can talk about it in the next day or two, probably.
Okay.
But it's just a lot. It's just a lot. Mentally, it's a lot. Guys, over on TikTok, here's the deal. I'm gonna be real with you. Need y'all to interact.
Yeah, GIF.
If we don't have interaction, if we don't have like subs or gifs or just commenting or liking the stream or hitting that button up there with the orange heart or whatever it is, if you guys don't interact, we don't get debates. And if we don't get debates, I can't pump out content. And if I can't pump out content, it's it. It's it. So the hope would be is that inevitably YouTube Shorts gets bigger over there. And YouTube Shorts gets bigger over there, and we can take calls off of YouTube Shorts, but it requires interaction. And if you guys want to support, going over to OK Hi in the YouTube in the bio and watching it over there, be it on a backup device, whatever, comment, interact, go watch the videos over there, help get out the, I need watch hours, I need 4,000 watch hours. It's going to take like 2 months or more if it, keeps up at this rate. So by all means, please go over there. Also, for a short limited time, you can watch the live playbacks over there for both morning and night. So yeah, arrivederci. We have Spiker Doodle.
Okay.
Fan off.
Thank you, Chelsea. Hello.
He's not connecting.
Goodbye.
Okay. Anyways, if you guys over on TikTok want to double tap the screen, comment, interact, help get some people in here, that would be cool. Google did this update where they changed it so like you have to click a button and then they have like enter full screen tile, and it makes it so difficult, and I have no idea how to fucking get rid of it because Mac has become counterintuitive.
Yeah, pretty slow day so far.
Yeah, we can go over the
What
news
is there
in a
to
second.
yap
I just
about?
want to give it a minute to see if anybody hopped in here. And I kind of got a headache. I've kind of had a headache all day. Just been working through it.
Gotta have some warm tea. Well,
I haven't been paying attention, have I? I literally do this every single day, bud. Go ahead and hop on in the box.
Venmo? It's in my bio.
Yeah, mine too.
It's been really slow this month, especially being banned twice. I've made no fucking money.
It has been a bit rough. Dennis, appreciate it. Thank you for the $1 over on Venmo, since I have a career change ahead of me, I think this mega influencer may be profitable. Yeah, appreciate it.
Exactly.
Exactly. Grift, sell shirts and shit.
Kate says, thank you for the $10, Kate. 16 years ago, Michael Jackson died. Also, being you, grifters always on the left side. Grifters away on the left side. Excuse me.
Yeah. What is this? YouTube Shorts are not the answer. People would rather do long form where it's easier to control interaction. I'm doing both. I'm not switching over to YouTube Shorts. I'm doing both. I'm trying to put it out onto YouTube Shorts while I'm going live in the long form. We're going to do news in just a second here. I'm just trying to mentally recover from the fucking day. Also...
is Katie a mod? Yeah, she's a mod. Okay. Robin, thank you for the $10. That just come in?
It did. Yeah, it has been like crazy slow the last 2 months. And it's the summer plus tariffs and everybody's fucking panicked because there's no fucking clarity on that. Yeah. So it's been rough. I was going to look up the other news story I was going to do. Just going to be real. It's just been a day. I know I missed live a couple nights ago. I honestly... I thought about calling it off, but I was like...
Yeah, I thought you would.
Yeah. It's not that. I mean, it's just that what happened today was an addition to everything that happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. Give me a minute to think about it. I don't know.
No problem.
If we get 500 people in here, I'll do it.
You want news?
Just cause there's a bunch of people that are gonna miss it, and this is like a thing. Yeah, we can do news in just a second. If you guys want to double tap the screen though, comment, interact, help get some people in here. So I'm gonna record this one. We're gonna talk about it, and did you have this one in your roundup? The Trump DOJ sues federal judges.
Nope.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm on the thing, so it's kind of hard for me to bounce over to it. So we'll do that one. You ready?
Yep.
So the Trump administration, I'm going to make sure this is recording. It wasn't recording, right? Okay, I'm on. All right. So the Trump administration sued 15 federal judges today in Maryland over an order that pauses any deportations under legal challenges in the state for 48 hours. So he's now suing on the civil side judges. If you're not aware as to why that's insane, I'll get to that in just a second. But very clearly, this is another attack on the judiciary. He is trying to assert dominance. It is a desperate move. I know that people may sound concerned by this. It is a desperate move inherently. And it comes from the fact that he's just getting shot down in the courts. And he's trying to establish some form of power control, whatever. Typically, the way it works, he will bring a court case. Sorry, I had a joke. He will bring a court case and then lose. And then that's the end of it. He'll bring a court case and then he'll lose. And then you'll challenge it, right? So you'll take it to a court, you'll lose, you'll challenge it, you'll move up. You lose there, you challenge it, you move up. He keeps losing at the lower courts, and it's being reinforced by the higher courts. The Supreme Court can't get to everything. They only get to things that have substantial challenges. They can't take every case. They can't take a ton of them. So it's really left up in a lot of ways to lower federal courts, specifically appellate courts, and whether or not they apply their decision to the entirety of the United States, which is becoming increasingly common. It does make sense, but it also does, obviously, in the system we live in, open it up for ideological, moves made within the court, is to be able to say this is true for the entirety of the United States. In this instance, though, he's suing the judges. So they come down and they give their ruling, and then he sues them. Now, is this going to go anywhere? No. That's why I call it a desperate move. There's absolutely no way that they're going to allow him to sue judges over them acting in their official capacity. One, there's a lot of case law on this, but basically they're given free rein. They can't, unless a higher court overturns them, that's pretty much it. Their decision is final. And it's also part of their duty, right? In the same respect, and this is true, we have a system in America that came up with, literally made up by the Supreme Court, uh, uh, of immunity for police officers or other government officials that cannot be sued in the course of their job, unless what they do has already previously been established as being wrong by the courts. Obviously, that makes it really difficult to sue police officers and other government officials, which is why you see them sue the department so often, or the city, is because suing those officers is really difficult. Suing those government officials is really difficult because they're given a lot of protections by the Supreme Court, and this is going to be one of those protections. To me, it comes off as a desperate move. It is in line with what Trump wants to do, which is try and scare people, but it's pretty sad. I don't even think it's ever been done. It's going to get thrown out immediately, like dismissed with prejudice, because it's insane. It really is. I would be and I think that there's a larger concerning part about the officials that brought this case, because you got to be crazy to take this in front of a judge that's going to be overseeing your stuff and put it in front of someone that could potentially turn around and be like, I'm going to submit your law license for review. This is insane. So you got to be either really stupid or really ballsy. And granted, with the type of talent that Trump has brought in, I'm leaning more towards stupid. Yeah. We'll have to see. But I suspect there's probably going to be a not so happy judge on the receiving end of this lawsuit that's going to slam it down really, really hard. So that's my thoughts as far as what's going to concerning that. This is the Trump administration's attempt to try and control the judiciary so that they agree with him. But ultimately, he's failing. He's failing. And there's a concerning part here. Sorry, I'm yapping, but there is a concerning part here that needs to be addressed. He's failing. At what point does he start going to getting angry? And what's he going to do? How is he going to lash out? How is he going to react? Because he's failing. I'm not sure how much of this is being controlled by the administration at large and how much of it is being controlled directly by him. That's unknowable. Because if it is him, he's going to lose his mind. If it's and then he'll forget. If it's not him, they're not going to forget, and they're just going to keep going and plugging away at this. So it really does matter who's behind this, as far as the extent of which it's going to affect the judiciary. But ultimately, it's a failure. It's going to fail in court. It looks insane. I cannot believe a lawyer would bring this. And I would be very concerned for my law license. Not a lawyer, but I would be very concerned for my law license if I did. Because this is nutso. It really is rubber room stuff. One flew over the cuckoo's nest. It's crazy. Crazy town. Jaden, you got any thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, this is in line with what they've been doing all year, really. They introduced H.R. 1526, or NORA, which essentially acts as a limitation on the authority of district court judges to provide injunctive relief. Reason as to why is because they don't agree with what the courts are doing as it relates to checks and balances and the stoppings and the blockings that they do of this administration. They don't care at the fact that people who have put their careers on the lines are now directly under threat by these supporters, by these representatives, by the executive government. That's not of their concern. It is whether or not they can push forth an ideological argument, regardless of what the court agrees with or not. And I think this sets a dangerous precedent, as well as what you said, in the attacks that are sustained on the court and how much damage will be ensued in months or years to come. They ultimately don't believe in the court. They don't believe that as an equal branch of government, one worthy of equal value. So this is just in line with their behavior.
Yeah, the one thing that's restricting them in this regard is that the officials that are bringing the actions, the officials that are carrying out the dirty work, they're putting themselves in the line of sight, and it's taking them a while, but they are recognizing how bad it's going to be for them if they continue. And the courts really haven't had to go after administration officials that severely yet, but it's been threatened. So I just want to bring that up. By the way, Katie's a lawyer, just said the injunctive, what did she say? He said current injunction statistic 93% loss. Trump loses 93% of cases in court.
That's why. That's why he's attacking them.
Yeah. So, we'll see how it all plays out. Ultimately, I kind of get this vibe from the entirety of the Trump administration. It's a colossal failure across the board. It really is. It's a colossal failure. Everything that they have done has been shot down, or at least a lot of them. Sure, they've gotten some wins, very few, and I expect that to continue. But how's he going to lash out? And that we'll just have to wait and see.
All right.
Okay.
On to the next.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
No problem.
If you were debating, do we have debates?
Do we?
Yes, these are all okay. Hi, these are not debates.
Oh, yeah.
The one and only and break.
Go with one and only.
Okay. One and only. What's going on? What's your take?
I just don't. What are you guys talking about?
Just covering the news.
Oh, Trump losing his court cases. That's what we were talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically, we were talking about the fact that he was suing. He's suing judges because they're issuing orders that don't agree with him.
Oh, yeah. I really didn't pay attention to that one.
Yeah.
So what is it?
Yeah.
I mean, they for or against?
Are we against
him
Trump?
Suing judges?
No, the judge thing.
Yeah.
Like he's suing them. Is it? I mean,
No, we're for judges.
They keep issuing.
injunctions.
Yeah, they're issuing orders that disagree with him, and he's not happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, well, you can see why he's not happy about it. Like anybody wouldn't be happy about it. You know,
I get that.
It's a there's speed bumps, right? I don't know how many have been filed. I don't know how many's won, how many's lost, but it just slows down any progress that anybody's going to make or try to make, right?
93%.
93% lost.
Yeah.
Oh well, then yeah, he lost them all.
Yeah.
What were they? What were these lawsuits pertaining to? Like
A variety
A lot
of
of them
different
have
things.
to do. Yeah.
Kilmar
Sorry, go ahead, dude.
Garcia. Yeah, Kilmar Garcia, migrant rights, deportation statuses, things like that.
oh, gotcha.
Yeah. See, it's. I mean, it's been a ton of stuff. Funding is another one. Type of care towards
Yeah.
trans youth, et cetera, et cetera.
Doge.
Gotcha. Well, I don't really know much about that. You know what's going on with that. So, what else you guys talking about?
I don't know. What else did you want to debate?
I mean, this one's fresh, but I think it's already kind of been beaten to death. What do you think about those strikes on the
Not this
facilities? Oh, we can go to something else, dude. That's fine. What
yeah,
else
I'd
you got?
appreciate
What
it.
do
No,
you
it's not you. It's not you. I just like 4 of the next 7 videos on YouTube are scheduled out to be some form of the Iran debate. So it's kind
Yeah,
of like we've been
gotcha.
debating it to death.
Oh, you have not? It's just what's coming up?
No, that's just what we've got in here for debates so far this week, really, because people are talking about it.
gotcha,
It wasn't
gotcha.
effective. I mean, the short of it is it wasn't effective, and
I think
it
we're
was a
still waiting
complete
for that. I
disaster.
think we're actually didn't it? Oh,
No, it's
well, we'll
already-
never know. I mean, they gotta get boots on the ground or something on the ground to fucking take
Said we
video or
sent them
something. Right?
back.
Huh?
Said we sent them back maybe a few. They said we sent them back maybe a few months.
Oh, the shit I heard it from, Trump reading something from Israel's, I don't know what organization it was, but they said that they're set back for years, not months.
No, it was a Pentagon assessment. We sent them back a month.
It
They had
came, it
already
came from
pulled most
Israel. This one
everything
came from
out.
Israel. This one came from
I know.
Israel.
I don't trust them. I don't trust them. I would trust the Trump administration more on this one because the Trump administration either is going to be truthful or say it's going to be years, and the fact that they said it was months, I think. And that, by
Well,
the way,
is
there
that
was
the
another
one?
report that came out. There was another report that came out from international experts that said it probably didn't do very much to stop them.
Well, I know that first couple satellite images I seen. When it happened, there was somebody that analyzed the pictures, and the color of the debris essentially that was strung out was, essentially concrete, right? It was concrete. So, when I look at that, if there's essentially concrete sprawled across the top of the ground, that it hit concrete. And concretes aren't naturally it's not in mountains, right? It's man-made. So if one of those 30,000-pound bombs or whatever it is after it deploys 5 or 8,000-pound bomb hit concrete, whatever is down there is fucked up. I mean, that's just common sense. But maybe they had
It's
multi-layers
not
and everything.
concrete that they're concerned about. It's whether or not they actually struck nuclear missile defense systems there. And
Well,
right now, the
that would have
assessment is that
been
they didn't.
Yeah,
that
I
would have
doubt
been the
very
stuff
much
that's
there was even
protected
anybody
by
in there.
concrete, right? What's that?
I doubt that there's. Well, it's really far underground. I doubt that there was anybody even in the either any of those facilities. To be honest with you, I think they moved
Well, who
everyone.
cares about anybody in there? But like the hardware and the machinery and all that crap to create this stuff.
Yeah, it had been transferred.
I heard that some of the uranium may have been transferred, but not the hardware it takes to create it.
The centrifuges were. We don't know, but it looks like they have
Okay.
moved everything.
All right. Well, then if it's either we don't know, or your opinion is they may have transported them, or my opinion is they blew them up. So I guess we
Well,
just.
it's not our opinion. This is just what's come out
Well,
per
Yeah,
U.S.
we don't.
intelligence.
I haven't heard anything about anything other than uranium. I believe that they said 900 pounds of uranium may have been pulled out of it. No centrifuges or anything like that. I think if they're pulling out a centrifuge, they would have seen that through those satellite images, right? Because they have
It
images
was
of all those vehicles sitting out there.
reported about 2
Well, see,
days
they
ago.
would have.
U.S.
So here's the
intel found
thing.
Iran did not move nuclear material from Fordo. Ultimately, this contradicts what was reported the other day, in which Israeli officials reported that they were able to move it within 72 hours.
Yep. So it's either they moved it or
So
they
wait,
did
hold
not.
on, wait. Did they not move it or no?
There's
Not
conflicting
sure.
information. That's the problem. Like who do you go with? Israel? I mean, they're
Well,
over
so
there.
here's the
Right? They got
thing.
assets on the
Yeah,
ground.
but so here's the thing. If they moved it, then this is a non-issue. Okay. If they didn't move it, we know from the IAEA that there is not any nuclear radiation that's present. So either they moved it or we didn't hit it.
Gotcha. But we
Who
destroyed
knows?
the ability for them to create any more uh, until they're able to build
But
that
we,
facility back up, which would take years. So
yeah,
my point with this is, and I'm
Months.
sure you did your research, is they've
it
been,
won't take
U.S. has
years.
been
I
saying
mean,
Iran
months
can't have a
maybe.
nuclear weapon for the last 40 years. That's all they ever says. They can't get it.
They're
Can't
gonna
get it.
have one.
We have to
Ultimately,
we have to come up with these.
have one.
Hold on, but
But
they have to come up with these agreements so they won't produce anymore. Blah blah blah. All he did was just shut that shit down immediately. He gave them 60 days. They did not come back within 60 days, and he did what he said he was gonna do. And I have no problem with that because I'm tired of these politicians just saying they're going to do something and they never do it. They run on
right,
stuff,
but
they never do it.
the problem is like if you're going to do something, it needs to be a solution, right? There
It
is
is.
no
Well, it
solution.
is a
It's not. They're
solution. They
gonna
can't.
have their nuclear. They're gonna have their nuclear weapons program. Like we're not gonna stop that. It's ongoing. They're reassembling it as we speak. They'll be down for a few months.
They'll be down for long in a few months. That shit don't just pop up like a fucking
I
Dollar
know,
General
but you
store.
can imagine that they've been working on other sites. And just to point this out, we used to know. I mean, we probably are going to end up knowing where they are, but we definitely knew where they had them, or where they had
Yeah,
their centrifuges, where they had their nuclear radiation. We knew where they had them,
of course.
and now we don't. So
And I think that's a political thing too. I think that's just information that we'll truly never know because look at the technology we have today, right? They got satellites pointing
I
down
know,
that
but what?
shit
Right. No, my
all
point
day
is though
long.
is that No, I know, but my point is though is that we are Andreu, appreciate it. Thank you for the 10. Thank you. I'll read that in just a second. Um, no, the point is that we know where they're at. We're able to track it. There's no need for them to split up into multiple different sites to create secret sites or whatever. Like we knew where they were, and now we don't. And just to be honest with you, it is interesting to me. Like I just want to point this. I'm gonna be so fucking real here. I'm gonna be so for real. The only reason that we give a shit about Iran, the only reason is because of Israel. That's it. You notice how there was never a discussion about stopping North Korea from having nukes? There was never a discussion.
Yeah, we never bombed
Never.
them.
And we had the positioning against China at that time to take action, and we never did it. And they're very clearly the more unstable actor. Always have been. Very clearly more unstable. You can say a lot of things about Iran, but one of the things that they are is they're calculated. They could have made a nuke already. They could have done it. They're right there. They're at the precipice. They literally just got to put the pieces together.
Well,
right?
there you go.
Right.
And,
They're very
that's
close.
What, I'm glad that you finally said it. I was just waiting. When there were they everybody knew they were going to do it. Everybody did, but we sat here and said, Iran can't have one. Iran can't have one, and didn't do shit about it. None of them fucking did anything about it. So Trump went in there
The
and blew the
Iranian
shit
nuclear
up.
deal did.
What's that?
The Iranian nuclear deal attempted to.
Yeah, and it was shit. I mean,
Why was it shit?
Dude, I'm not gonna fall down this fucking
Dennis.
rabbit hole with you.
It's not a rabbit hole. It's
All
just,
right, it is. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Curious.
It didn't. When it was all said and done, it was not gonna prevent fucking Iran from creating a fucking nuclear weapon. It wasn't.
But it stalled the
Dennis,
ability for them
it
to
stalled.
do so.
Appreciate the
definitely-
2. Thank
yeah.
you. I'll read that in a
It
second.
was a stall tactic, just like all the other presidents did. Stall, and just keep punting the shit down the fucking road. That's the
I know,
problem.
but what I
you don't get shit done.
Right. So what I don't understand is this, right? Like, we had the opportunity
Yeah.
to take action against North Korea, which would have made sense because they're
North
unstable
Korea
as shit.
has nuclear weapons.
I
They
know,
have
but
the
at the
ability
time
to
they
shoot
didn't.
that shit
At
at
the time
us.
At the time they didn't, and we didn't do it. Right. So for that thing, they have intercontinental ballistic missiles. They're never going to go.
Why didn't
anywhere.
Obama do
We'll
anything
always
about
be
it?
ahead of them.
Well, he did.
Hold on a second.
What did Obama
You
do?
disagree with it.
But just
What?
The
really quick.
JCPOA.
Who cares? What
No, I
did he
think he's
do
talking
about
about-
it? Nothing. He was.
Is he talking
He
about?
was
he's
firing
talking about
fucking
North
missiles.
Korea.
North
He's talking
Korea
about North
was
Korea.
firing fucking ballistic missiles.
Yeah, that
all the
was
time under
they.
Obama.
I don't know when they got their nuke. They did it under Trump too.
It pretty much came to a fucking screeching halt.
No,
it
it
actually
came to a
resumed in
stop for.
November of the same year he visited.
Yeah, it stopped because of COVID.
I think
But
they
it kept
tested one
going.
more missile. North Korea
No,
was
they-
shooting shit off, and I
no,
know
they-
you guys know this. It wasn't that long ago when Trump
No, they
asked Obama
tested-
essentially what was his biggest threat, and the biggest threat was North Korea. And look what Trump did. He stopped it. No matter what
So-
you want to say, no matter if you hate him, he fucking stopped it.
Okay.
He stopped
Okay,
the
slow down. He
launches.
didn't stop their defense system or their testing.
He did. They
They
I
continued.
think they
it.
shot
I
like
can
one
pull
more
it, dude.
rocket.
I pulled up the numbers hundreds of times. They did not stop missile testing under Trump. They
The ICBM missile tests were fucking pretty much to a halt. I think they did one or two after it's said and done. Not one or two
I can
after
pull up.
he became
I can
president.
pull up the list.
I'm saying when the negotiations were happening. You know, like when he went over there and crossed over into North Korea. You know,
He did the
first time anybody's ever
negotiations.
done that?
They stopped for a minute. There was COVID going on because I think he went there in like 2018 or something. There was COVID going on later, and it sort of died off, but it resumed under his presidency. So I can pull up the numbers.
COVID happened
for it
in
if you want, but
2020.
They shot off a lot of missiles. Do you want me to pull up the stats?
yeah, if you would.
Right here, in 2018, after the Singapore summit with Kim Jong-un, North Korea imposed a self-moratorium on nuclear and long-range missile tests, leading to no such test that year. However, testing resumed in 2019, with at least 18 short-range ballistic missiles launched from May onward, which
Short
violated
range, okay.
UN Security Council resolutions. Trump downplayed these, calling them, quote, very standard and not a violation of his agreements, focusing instead on the absence of long-range testing.
Yep.
By 2020, North Korea continued SRBM test and unveiled a new, quote, monster ICBM at a military parade.
Okay, so, and he was right. we were talking about ICBMs, not the short range stuff. All right. And he started doing it again in 2020. Well, what happened in 2020? I mean, I don't know when he started again. Maybe it was after. Does it say what month they started in? Maybe November.
Of what, 2020?
Yeah.
It doesn't say here.
Okay. Because 2020 was the election year, right? And
he was president.
Yeah. But depending on what month, that kind of, it'd be interesting to know what month, because just like the Ukraine and Russia thing, like right when Biden got fucking nominated and in there, Russia invaded fucking Ukraine. So I'm sure that North Korea followed suit because they knew he was a weak motherfucker.
Rein this back in. Awesome.
Would it make more sense for them to not bomb if they like Trump?
Huh?
Never mind. Go ahead.
No, they knew Trump wouldn't fuck around. Just like right now, Iran.
But they shot off missiles. I don't know what you're, dude. I don't know why you're arguing with this. I don't know why you're arguing about this. They shot off missiles.
Well, not ICBM. There's a difference, and that was part of the agreement.
They introduced long range. They introduced long range ICBMs.
In 2020, at the end of 2020, I believe.
Right. They slowed down because of COVID. COVID really, really seriously ravaged the country because they didn't have the medical necessity. They were struggling really bad, and it did a lot of damage to the country. So, okay. At any rate, the point that I was making was nobody made any sort of stance against North Korea. There were people, but there wasn't this political goal around it. North Korea and Kim Jong-un is very clearly insanely unstable. We don't even know who's running the country. It might be his sister. We're not sure because he's of mediocre intelligence.
So who do you think was running the Biden administration those last 2 or 3 years?
Biden.
It's a red herring.
No.
But can we stay on topic? I can't even get to the topic.
I just want to get to the point because
Let's stay on this, please.
On here before. What's that?
Let's stay on this.
Can we
stay on what?
On this thing?
Well, it comes down to this. You guys are bashing Trump because it's Trump when it comes to this shit. But you all don't want to ever
stay on topic?
Talk about the... What do you mean? We are on topic.
I was going to talk about North Korea, Pakistan, and then Iran.
Okay, so what's that got to do with the topic we were talking about with Iran? I mean, you're going off topic and going on something else because
I was bringing it back full circle by pointing out that nobody reacted when it was anyone else, and that Iran has been the most calculated, the most sane of all three of those countries, and nobody has said a thing.
They're pretty much the last one to go down in that area.
I'm gonna be real with you. Pakistan is the most terrifying country on the planet with nukes. Pakistan, we can say all we want about North Korea. North Korea is terrifying. Sure, yeah, they're gonna shoot off missiles, but in large part, air defense systems will hit them out of the sky. You have to deal with nuclear radiation in various different places, right? Pakistan, they transport their nukes by van.
You said Pakistan?
There's a very real concern. Yes, there's a very real concern that the extremism there, they're going to hijack a nuke. That's the concern, is that they hijack somebody that, like, they don't do secure transport like the United States and other countries do with a nuclear shuffle. They literally put them in a van and drive them down the road. So there's a lot of fear that one of those is going to get stolen. One of those is going to get taken. You can bet our government's tracking them. That's terrifying. North Korea is terrifying. Iran is a problem, but I think out of everyone, Iran has shown a degree of restraint that even the West hasn't with what they've dealt with. It's been very calculated.
So Iran, their proxies bombing the Marine barracks in the 80s.
They've done. I'm not saying they're good.
No, hold on. All the way up till now,
I'm saying.
And them chanting to kill, essentially kill Americans. And you're sitting here.
Well, Trump just said he was going to turn into a parking lot. Trump just said he was going to turn Iran in. Trump.
Are you kidding me, dude? You're
trying to sit there and make Trump just said he was going to turn Iran in. Stop talking. Trump just said he was going to turn Iran into a parking lot. And you're sitting there going, they're chanting death to America. Trump's literally talking about turning the place into glass. So have some perspective. Just a little.
I do have some. Iran killed Marines.
Oh my God, they did the same thing that we did?
They
We
killed
killed them. We've done
Marines.
it. I understand that. We've done that to
In
them.
Iraq and
I understand
there
that. Don't make me defend
we finally
Iran.
we finally hit that nerve. There
All
we
right,
go.
man.
I've been
I'm gonna
waiting.
tell you right. I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna tell you right now. If you can't stop, you're gonna go. You've been interrupting me this
What?
whole time. You've been
Stop
refusing
what?
to let other people. Excuse me. You've been refusing to let other people talk, and it's getting annoying. You trying to stir up the conversation and like create fireworks? I ain't having it right now. I swear, today ain't the day I'll just drop you. So just be respectful. That's all I'm asking.
I didn't
I am
talk
not
over
saying
you.
that Iran.
There you go.
You just did. You just did.
You,
Iran. Cool. Iran
yeah.
does bad things. I don't agree that they're not a good country. We do the same. To try and remove it from that would be crazy. Take accountability on both sides. You killed their General Soleimani. Yeah, they're going to attack. By the way, you're talking about the 80s. I just want to point out. But yes, they do attacks on us. We do attacks on them. Clearly, we're talking about us doing an attack on them. Well, the point I'm making out is that when you look at the way that they've conducted themselves, okay, it is very strategic. It is very reserved. They're getting bombed out by Israel. They can't win. They have way more resources than they are using. And they're practicing what's called kinetic diplomacy, meaning that you trade a shot, we trade a shot. You trade a shot, we trade a shot. But it's always within the bounds. It's always within reason, right? Of like, this is a proportional response. That's not something that's given when we're talking about Israel bombing Gaza or Israel bombing Iran. Yes, there's back and forth. Yes, there's shots and whatever. But Iran, be real, looks to be the more reasonable actor. Just the way that they react to these things. They're calling up Trump and telling him, hey, we're going to bomb a base. Hey, we're going to bomb your air base. They're literally calling their shots so that they can be like, look, we're just putting this on for show. You can say whatever you want. I agree. I don't want Iran to have nuclear weapons. I don't think that they're good, like that their leadership are good people or that it's a good country. There's a lot of evil that happens there, and they do a lot of really awful things. The point that I'm making is that the reason that we care so much about this is because they're mortal enemies with Israel and Saudi Arabia. That's why we care. We didn't care when North Korea got them. Like, obviously our government did, but there weren't discussions happening with people. There wasn't discussions when Pakistan really got nukes. It was like, oh, they got nukes. There's not those discussions that happen when those really even more unstable countries get nukes. Just when, in this instance, it's someone that disagrees with Israel or someone that's in a war with Israel.
Okay,
and Saudi Arabia.
So I think we're right there with everybody else. You know, it wasn't just the Beirut stuff, and I learned that because, you know, I was in the military and I learned that history. The other issue with that is Iran was supplying the insurgents in Afghanistan with IEDs, blowing up my brothers and sisters. So Iran's, not the people, the regime, all right? The regime is out to kill Americans. And you're like, well, yeah, okay, cool. You know, we killed them. Then what are you fucking complaining about when we blow their shit up?
Cool. I got one simple question to you.
Did
you fought in Afghanistan and Iraq?
What's that?
Did you do a tour in Afghanistan and Iraq?
I was over for September 11th with the fucking 24th MEU. All right, and that's why I'll just leave it at that. All right. So what I'm gonna tell you is this: those fucking IEDs killed and dismembered a lot of fucking people, and that was all supplied by Iran. So fuck them. Not the people. Not the people.
Cool. I want to point this out to you, though. I want to point this.
What are you going to point out, dude?
I want to point this out.
Okay.
What? I just want to point this out, okay? Is that I agree they did that. Those are awful things. Those are not good, and they exacerbated our playing their
not
thing.
Good?
We are invading what they view.
You need to chill out, man.
Really? I'm about to kick you out the
you
live.
just said not good. They're killing Americans.
Just chill out.
Dude, I let you talk for 3 minutes straight. 3 minutes straight.
Yeah, but
what?
I'm gonna be real.
3 minutes?
I'm not gonna get into a semantical argument with you because you want to take something I say out of context when I'm trying to get to something larger. The fact is, I've been interrupted a lot, and I'm trying to get to a larger point, and I'm not getting to it, and you're purposefully not allowing me to get to it, and it's annoying. So
I
stop.
didn't interrupt you at
Thanks.
all. I didn't interrupt you at all.
Good.
Tommy.
You ain't
That's
gonna
a
interrupt
lie.
me anymore because you're gonna stay muted. Thanks. You interrupt me a lot. I got the whole thing recorded. The point that I wanted to make that you're not understanding is, are you aware that Syria played an instrumental role in us losing the war in Iraq? That they funded jihadist extremist groups to go fight there, that they supplied them, that they ran the bus routes to get them to the battlefield, and not a word was said about Syria. Even right now, are you also aware that we invaded Iraq looking for chemical weapons? There were none. Next door, Syria had the biggest, I think it is, or was at the time, the largest stash of chemical weapons in the world, or one of the largest stashes of chemical weapons in the world. Not a single word was said to them. In fact, Colin Powell brought that up at a meeting with Bashar al-Assad. He said, you're making us look bad having chemical weapons next door. You need to get rid of them. Never got brought up, though. Never got talked about. He just said it's a concern that you need to address. Because we have one. Nobody talked about Syria and the role they played. Even now, you're going, look at what Iran did. Look at what Syria did. Look at what the Russians are doing in the region. All of this is backed by Russia, but you guys are like, Russia's not that bad, which is fucking crazy. I'm not sure, like, what's not clicking here. It's not that Iran is not bad. It's why we care. It's why we care. That's the problem here.
That made no sense, but whatever, dude.
All right. I've heard enough.
Hey, Tommy, real quick.
Silence.
No thanks. What do you mean that made no sense?
No, he wasn't listening. That's what he means.
No, the only point that I'm trying to make is that the reason that this is getting exacerbated, the reason this is in America's mind, is very clearly because of Israel. That's why. Whether or not it's the fact that they have the ear of congressmen, or whether or not it's just that people care about it more because it's inherently, like in the instance of Syria, people in America, I think, would have a more unfavorable view of Syria if they had been able to, over the last however long, actually make moves on Israel, right? But they really don't have the military strength to do that. They really haven't had the coordination, and they didn't have the equipment, right? And they're next door, so they're not really trying to antagonize. They're not favorable. I mean, Syria is not favorable to Israel. They're not in any capacity, nor is Iran. It's just really, who's the mortal enemy? It's Iran. And also, it coincides with larger geopolitical strife where Iran is trying to vie for control against Saudi Arabia. So it's not just that we're doing this to get rid of their nuclear program. We're doing this because Iran is winning in the Middle East. Iran is winning. They're winning in Yemen. They're winning in, various different places. Iraq, they've got favorability. But they're exerting their dominance in a way. Awesome. Well, I'll just call it there. But they're exerting their dominance in a way that is, a problem. And they're winning. And so the West wants that to stop.
Okay. Well, everybody, go ahead and tap that screen if you guys are enjoying the debates. We also accept gifts. There's Venmo Cash Apps in the bio there. It's Pride Month, and I've been fucking dry. Okay? It's been dry as hell out here. Oh, welcome back. All right, he's out. Anywho, it'd be a good time to cover the news. Oh, we got somebody. Munich.
Are you guys able to hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Evening, how are you guys?
How about you?
Good. I want to preface this. I don't want to come in hostily towards you guys. I know that you guys have some difficult characters that sometimes put up some pretty antagonistic arguments and stuff like that. Not that I think that I'm hostile. I was kind of curious from your guys' perspective. I don't have the exact beliefs that you guys do. Do you guys, I guess my question is, and I mean this with all modicum of like civility, do you guys think that there is a justification to, and I'm not saying this is like a condemnation of an entire like race of people, of course, in any capacity.
Oh boy.
No. I bear with me for that piece is what I'm saying. I know, because I know that part sounds bad. I mean, do you think that there is a justification when we do talk about Sharia law? And I'm zero fan of Israel. I think what they've done has been over the top, and obviously, again, in a lot of ways, they've been tyrants with what's happening. Are there parts where you think that pieces of maybe people, and not necessarily Iran, sorry, of under the Islamic umbrella with Sharia law, where there is room to criticize some of the practices they do make, kind of in that space?
Yeah, I think that would extend towards any oppressive regime that undermines human rights and commits flagrant violations of that. This doesn't, and this is not exclusive to Sharia law. I mean, we can point to a number of different regimes,
Absolutely.
even those who are not following a particular religious path, that commit similar atrocities. So I think the conversation is certainly one that needs to be had.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that in a way where it's meant to be contentious or anything like that. I don't mean that in any form of that. I think the frustrating thing that we see when at least this is my perspective, and tell me if you agree with me or not on this, and if you don't, I'm just curious to hear what you do have to say. Like, the idea that we have Israel, clearly I don't think anybody genuinely supports the attack by October 7th, at least the cruelty of it is what I'm saying. Does that mean that Israel is good? Clearly not, obviously. Even if they're alleging that they're, again, quote unquote, hiding civilians as a way of a Cersei Lannister human shield against some of these figures, it doesn't justify, obviously, the combatants of civilians. I don't think anybody truthfully does agree with that in some ways. I mean, I don't want to stretch this into this point of view, but like, I think people clearly are suspicious of some of our assistance of Israel in a lot of the way that we do things. I mean, do you guys ever trend into the spaces where like you feel like, well, AIPAC is our second largest, lobbying, group inside the United States, how much influence they have, or does that trend into a territory where you guys feel like it's like you're getting risque with the direction that's going in?
Well, we're against all forms of foreign lobbying, and in this case, especially AIPAC. I think part of the issue not only has to do with AIPAC, but the grip that religious extremism has on the United States Congress, and I don't know that it would change fundamentally, even if there was a complete shutoff of all money coming from the Israeli government.
I agree.
These people fundamentally believe that, these people fundamentally believe that it is within them to uphold the status of the Holy Land for some kind of promise in the afterlife. I think that is a terrible way of governing in our mortal world, in a sense of arguing that if I do something, if I commit an atrocity today, I'm guaranteed a lifetime of pleasure afterwards. Nothing is guaranteed, especially the afterlife. I think, this sort of idea has shown a profound level of destruction and danger on our society. I don't know how you would upend that, because I'm not for religious test either. But I think it's sort of a two-prong issue here, which is money from Israel and the fact that we have religious extremists in our Congress.
It's like it's
I want to say this really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Andreu, appreciate it. Thank you for the 10 over on YouTube. Can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat? Sorry, I'm trying to get caught up. Trump has said that a preliminary U.S. intelligence assessment of the damage caused by U.S. strikes in Iran nuclear facilities was inconclusive. Why are we arguing this straight from the horse's mouth? Andreu, appreciate it. Thank you. Nutcracker, appreciate the 5. During Donald Trump's presidency, 2017 to 2021, North Korea conducted 49 missile tests. Here's my thoughts on it in terms of lobbying for AIPAC.
Yeah.
I'm going to be real. I've been following campaign financing and how it's affected elections for a very long time. Like a really long time.
I know that you're ensconced in it.
What's that?
I know that you're ensconced in it. I didn't mean to interrupt.
I'm not picking
sorry.
up that word. Oh, no, you're good. I wasn't able to hear you say, but that's all right. But I've been following this for a really long time.
I think my phone's going outside. Keep going.
Oh, no, you're good. I've been following it for a really long time, and I think there's a big miss and a big misunderstanding by people on the left that want to say that AIPAC controls, that they have all of this inordinate amount of control. There's a lot of studies now that indicate that lobbying has sort of lost its it's lost its effect. So even in the event of like, this is a study I saw, granted, take it with a grain of salt because it was just a single study, but there have been some other indicators that indicate this is the case. It looked at lobbying from fossil fuel industries and actually found that the amount of money that they lobbied went down, but the amount of pro fossil fuels legislation went up. And that's not a correlational thing between they're giving money then in that case. And if that's not always a constant, right? So just imagine that that's true for a constant for a second, because there are obviously going to be different variations, but let's just assume it's a constant. The real problem is that there is an institution that has been created because these beliefs align with voter values, right? Because the pro-Palestinian side in America is relatively small compared to the pro-Israel side, and also the pro-Israel side votes. So who's going to emerge, right? If you have this big qualifier, right, of like, we're going to have this primary. Well, one, the person has to be rich, or they have to have access to a lot of money. And if you want to have access to a lot of money, you have to have certain beliefs.
Right.
And I don't think it's that they're just catering to those people. I think that they genuinely believe in Israel and various things. And so like AIPAC is giving it to them as a reward. Like, you voted on it. Okay, here you go. But they were going to do it anyways. Right. I don't think that it's a matter, because it's not like it's that much money, but I think it's more so inherently they believe it, and they believe these policy positions like fossil fuels or whatever, and they get ran through a filter of going through a primary where you need a lot of money and you need name recognition. And to have both of those typically implies that you've either been in politics before or that you're a big name in a certain group, special interest or otherwise. So I don't think it's that AIPAC is like throwing money and people are like, yeah, give us all that money. I think that really runs into the trope of Jewish people and money, number one, and that's concerning. But
if I can pause, I
think that it's more so, yeah. No, I know. I was saying simply among like the left, this is kind of the takeaway is that AIPAC is giving all of this money, and then congressmen are like, yeah, I'll just vote for whatever you want. That's not it at all. They're giving them money as recognition for ways they were already going to vote.
The bizarre, and this is where, and I want to make sure this is as pensive as it can potentially be, because there are channels obviously where there are going to be things where I'm not necessarily privy to as anybody, allegedly. Do we ever, relative to your example of obviously fossil fuel industries lobbying for obviously increased legislation, things like that, and sometimes there may be, a more connective tissue, for lack of a better word, correlation, and other times obviously it seems like it's a little bit like it's confounding, not in the sense where it's too confounding, but to wrap that up a little bit more fluidly. I mean, in true of probably any administration that's existed in probably the world in past times, I mean, do you think that there are ways where we have channels where that could be an influence, where they are prompting us to do things that maybe we wouldn't do of our own independent interest, and again, it's happening with Trump right now. I think most people would agree that they were not in favor of this. That's another debate in itself, of course. But is there another influence that might be directing some of our judgment or action with what's going on, if it's not just a tangible example of like AIPAC lobbying, if that makes sense?
Well, I mean, I think it's ideals and interest align. I think there's also potentiality for other issues that arise. We are really intertwined economically with Israel, very intertwined. Yeah. It would be incredibly detrimental if Israel were to not be a country. Just to be 100% honest, like, I'm not saying that, like, I want them to dominate the Middle East or anything, but them as a country is beneficial to us. It directly affects our economic interests to a significant degree. Congress wants to do that. I have heard concerns about, because you got to give it to the Mossad. They're very, very good at what they do. The Mossad is one of the best intelligence agencies on the planet.
Unfortunately so, yeah.
Could they have gotten information on certain politicians? Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Do I think that that's a widespread problem? I don't know. It's all speculation. Is it very possible? Yeah. Do I know? I don't know.
Right. No, I agree with that.
So
the other thing, this is actually one extent of the pocket of this whole thing that I feel like might be a little bit of a softer spot for me. The relationships from like a Islamic standpoint between like Saudi Arabia and Iran are not cohesive, clearly. Like, aren't those two more of an existential threat to each other relative to Iran and Israel itself? Whereas like Iran is more of just kind of like this is not the best way to say it, but like more of like an immediate kind of not soft enough to say annoyance, but like they're more of an immediate danger just because of proximity.
Sorry, who's more dangerous to who?
I thought between the intra-religious kind of relations between Saudi Arabia and Iran that there was more of a distinction between them having, and this could be excessive, but like an existential element where they disagree in terms of like the Sunni Shia distinction between them, and that it might not be Sunni Shia, it might be another compartmentalized piece of where they draw disagreements with each other.
Like, sorry, Saudi Arabia and I'm sorry,
Saudi
I'm not
Arabia
tracking.
and
I apologize. I'm sorry if I sound like an
No.
idiot. It's been a very long day for me. Sorry.
No, it's not. No. It's my phone is closer. I don't know if I'm breaking up a little bit. It was my impression, and I could be wrong on this, that Saudi Arabia and Iran did not have completely stable tensions.
Yeah, no, they've been at each other's throats. Saudi Arabia is fighting back with the help of the United States. The Houthis that are Iranian funded. Iran funds Hezbollah, Hamas, various different Syrian resistance groups. I expect there's probably going to even be strife in Syria as a result of that. But yeah, they in terms of each other, the thing is Iran is vying for regional control and they're winning. They're winning in a really big way because it's very difficult for. I mean, disruptive tactics are always worse. I think it was Hank Green or John Green. I can't remember who.
Yeah,
I know. Who's the older brother?
I thought
he
Hank
made
was
a point. I think it's Hank, right? Or John? I think no, John's the older one. John's the one that wrote the books. But he said this video in this video on TikTok that was pretty profound, and he was like, "We always talk about periods of destruction." And we always are quick to destroy, right? Because that's easy to do, right? It's a very chaotic time that people want to know and they want to understand. People want to understand chaos in their life. When we lay down at night, we don't think about the calm. We think about the chaos, right? Yeah. And people don't follow that because that reconstructive time is a very quiet, peaceful, melancholy time. It's a time of remembrance and a time of work and putting your head down. And in that way, yeah, we're hyper focused on that. I forgot where I was going with that, but yeah, that was part of my thing. Sorry, I totally forgot. Spaced out for a second. I was trying to remember which one was the Greens, but yeah, that's the thing. But it's people want to focus on that as opposed to, the quiet calm. But in the regards to Syria and or not Syria, but in regards to Saudi Arabia and Iran, yeah, they're fighting with each other. But I remember where I was going. It's disruptive. It's easier to be disruptive, right? It's easier to destroy. And Iran they're playing the underdog role. So for them to destroy in a region that has incredible amount of conflicts and various different groups that you could fund and very, very unstable, it's easy to find those groups. It's easier for them to do it than for Syria or for Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia is losing, right? The proxies from Iran they're winning. They're winning. Right. They're disrupting trade. And it's going to be very difficult to stop them. And so now you're putting this, the regional struggle is in a weird position. Syria's collapsing. Yemen is in a constant battle. You can't take back the land because Saudi Arabia doesn't have the military capability to do it. They just don't have that institutional, like American style of military, right? No, they're very dysfunctional. They can't take back the strait. And as a result, the Houthis can disrupt trade pretty much forever. You also can't give them cooperative efforts like Saudi refueling of jets because it brings Yemen to the brink of starvation. So you're in this really awful spot where they have a grip over global trade and they're going to vie for it because the West is, not just because of the West, but the West is antagonizing them. This is the way they view it and they're going to attack. And it's easier for them to do this. But Iran is winning, like regionally. And it's a direct threat to Israel and the things that they want to do in the region. And it's a direct threat to Saudi Arabia and the things they want to do in the region. And the United States is intertwined in innumerable ways with them. So, sorry I got distracted. Yeah, but that's...
No, it's okay. Obviously, it's an expansive edifice to be able to kind of narrow down the aperture when you want to find precise pieces of this. And I don't want to get too wide of a weave in the way that I'm explaining it. The bizarre thing to me is always that it's like, I know that nobody has the answer for this, is what I'm saying. It's like... do I think that, obviously I don't think anybody agrees that like we need to come in and put in a regime change or something like this. Would we love to help be a moderator for saying like, hey, like maybe we can find a better way to like, kind of carry out diplomacy or foreign relations and things like that? Yeah, in a perfect world, right? Like in any place in the world, everything sounds glamorous, but it doesn't seem like the best direction is potentially isolationist, even if this was some hypothetical where we had no connection to Israel at all. I would say it's, again, I'm not saying I have the answer to this anyway, too. The frustration, I think, is while we do have vested interests clearly in some pieces of the Middle East, and there's a large array that you could probably, I guess, point out with that, too. I guess the reason why I'm pausing slightly is, what's the best, like, needle of involvement that really is beneficial for everybody? Nobody wants people dead, and that's why I always try and compartmentalize. Obviously, the IDF is not necessarily Israeli citizens, but they are sometimes, there's an overlap in some ways, in the same way where a lot of people that are under potential, again, blanket statement, have elected Hamas, doesn't mean that all of them are necessarily, they're not conflated. And that's the thing that I think it's frustrating, is like, you can criticize bad pockets of people. I know this is common sense, but I feel like it's not always talked about. But it's like, we can't just come in and crack skulls to be the big swinging police for everybody, So
yeah, I think that's been really the failure of the last 25 years. Like I don't know how old you are, but I watched it in real time, where we go and we undermine because it's easy. It's easy to justify a drone strike, and it's easy to conduct one and get rid of a problem, but it really is like a hydra. You're just creating more problems in the region, and nobody's really backed off of this. I think the problem is that Iran, they are religious hardliners, and so is Israel, and we're kind of trapped in the middle of this war where it doesn't seem like there's any good way out. And I don't know.
I'll make this as one last question.
I don't have an answer.
No, I'm not. Who does, obviously, at this point? And I'm only saying this is my last point. I've probably taken up enough of your guys' time. What was I going to say before I had that? I mean, this is a person that really isn't exactly where you guys align on your politics, but obviously I have some blending through, different, windows of kind of where you land. I guess my question is, do you feel like, as a person that's more on the left than I am, do you think that the idea of obviously like Palestinian support or supporting the idea of not Islam and Sharia law, but the Palestinian versus Israel debate, I mean, how significant of a splintering factor do you think that probably took in maybe the last election?
That's a good question.
If at all.
How much did it actually affect it? I think so. I think that was a factor, and I think a lot of people didn't show up because of it. Could it have affected the election? I don't know. Personally, I think the thing that affected the election more was Harris's inability to dissect herself from Biden and how she was going to be different. But also, because she didn't want to, she had an incoherent economic message. And it's interesting because you notice these things where it's like that feels, and it really takes someone to identify it. But at the time, watching the debates, I was like, that economic response felt weird, right? And I think that was really the takeaway, is that it comes across as inauthentic. Ultimately, people are just like, I don't know what's going on here, there, whatever in the world. I just don't want it to cost me as much. And so her message is like the same as Biden, which, I don't think was fair to him. I think he inherited a mess, but she wasn't able to distinguish herself from him, and he didn't want her to. And so it created a situation where she had to like hug him while also pushing him away, where she should have just been open, honest, and candid and be like, look, I don't agree with him on a lot of things. I think that he's done a lot of good things, and we want to build on those. These things are the things that he's done, and then there's some things that I don't agree with him on. Here's what I'm going to do different. That would have been a better approach. But I think that there are things that happen with everything in life where it's just like weird things happen, whether it's relationships or where you're just talking to someone, or in this instance where something said that's off, and that was something that I should have picked up on. That's something I did pick up on, but I was just kind of like, Trump's like such a mess in other areas. It really did come down to the economy. There was a big push by Russian bots at the end to target moderate voters. I talked about it. where, you know, Jaden and I, we get pretty argumentative debates, and we sat in here for a month in the run up to the election with just moderates. People like, well, you know, like, yeah, but Trump is like, it was that the whole time. In fact, I can't even be sure that some of them weren't AI or just like Russian scripts, you know, like reading off. But it really was like that. It was like an immediate change. I noticed it, right? And so they're very clearly, their approach was, okay, we're not winning doing this. Let's target moderates. Yeah. And that's what they did.
Yeah.
So anyway, hope that answers your question. But
anyways, appreciate your guys' time. I'm at 1% anyway, so I'm gonna let you guys go. But hopefully it was a little bit productive and, you know, fruitful-esque in some ways.
Yeah, well,
it was a good talk. All right. Yep. Appreciate you coming in, man.
Have a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that, like, you know, I think that, like, early on, like, I've never seen a country squander goodwill so quickly. I mean, there's nothing defensible about what Israel's doing. At this point, what are we even arguing about? There's nothing defensible. It's just literally they're just out here slaughtering.
Did they really
people.
have goodwill, though?
They had goodwill for about 3 days.
Okay.
And then apartment complexes started coming down.
Yeah.
And I just want to say how crazy that is to blow up an apartment complex and say they were using human shields, so we blew them up too. And also,
we
how
bombed
crazy
the
it is. We bombed the shields. We want to make sure they never use more human shields in the future, you know, because if they just use human shield, then we just want to make. But also, how insane it is to say that you need to blow up apartment complexes. Right, and then try and justify it by saying, well, they give a knock through a bomb to tell people to get out. It's like, what the fuck's the point of blowing up the building? Which, by the way, they stopped doing that, by the way. They stopped doing that through a lot of parts of the war. But yeah, they give a tap warning to tell everyone to get out of the buildings so they could blow it up. And it's just like, there's nowhere else in the world could you even attempt to justify saying there's criminals in those buildings. We have to blow up all the innocent civilians. Nowhere else in the world. That distinction only exists within the Middle East. You would not be like, oh wow, this apartment complex in the fucking Bronx has a bunch of criminals living in it. Blow it up. You would never do that, right? You would sound crazy if you were to do that. I'm sure MAGA will try and start justifying it in the future. Clip that for later. But you would never justify that because that would be crazy, insane behavior. But when you dehumanize an entire group of people to that degree, to the point that they don't have any sort of agency. No one to speak for them, no one to hold the other side accountable, then yeah. Then you can blow up entire apartment complexes. You can blow up entire homes with kids in them. You know? I mean, I give Biden a lot of credit because, number one, he stopped the drone strikes, and a big degree of the drone strikes because he recognized the detrimental effect that they were having in the Middle East. The anger and animosity, and really just reinforcing extremist beliefs there, making it easier for them to recruit, right? It's easier to recruit someone if your neighbor's home blew up with their kids in it. And so they were relying on that. I give them credit though, because in one instance they surrounded a house, tried to get the person to come out. They were a high-ranking, I don't know, Al-Qaeda official or something like that. And they surrounded the house, tried to get them out, and they detonated it. They at least attempted, because they knew that there were kids on site. And Biden wasn't going to allow it. They at least attempted, right? It didn't go the way as planned. It was good. There was another instance where he shot literally a missile through a home that had like razor blades on it. Took out one person, right? So there's a degree of respect there that's not given by Republicans, and granted, has not been given by Democrats even. But at least the Democrats have learned and are starting to respect that. Because Obama, that guy had a fucking Microsoft joystick that he used on the Middle East.
He was having a field day.
And Trump made it. Trump got two.
Yep.
And, it's just detrimental. I don't think it's justifiable. Like the argument would be made like, well, it was just a different time and era. It's like, it didn't make it better. Right? We do these things, they have consequences, and they make the situation worse. We have to identify the root causes of issues, like in the United States with crime. People aren't just inherently bad. people face enough stressors, they inevitably snap, right? Or they go, I can't make it doing it the right way because I don't make enough money, because it's too hard. I'm going to do it this way, right? They go on into a career of crime because it pays really well, right? You're talking about a really impoverished part of the world, much of the Middle East, much of Central Asia, right? Africa as well, that's incredibly impoverished, and there is money in international terrorism. And you're blowing up these people's neighbors and their family members. I don't know if this has ever been said publicly. I won't tell you who this is. I do know that I was talking to someone that was dating someone, and when asked why they couldn't vote for Biden, because 2 of their family members had been blown up in Iraq by drone strikes from the Obama administration. Casualties, not involved. So you can understand how that would create a lot of anger. That people are losing family members, friends, and it's unjust. It's unjust. Period. It's unjust. It's not the way that we do things in America. It's not the way that we should do things in America. And we wouldn't say like, oh, well, we can't prove that they did it in a court of law, so blow their home up. Be crazy. Jaden, you want to debate?
Who do we have?
By the way, we're 4 subs from the goal. We're 4 subs from the goal. So if you guys want to sub on TikTok, I need 2 subs. Or 4 over on the other platforms. I would appreciate it though. We're almost there. Might as well hit it, right? Help get it out on the platform. And I'll be working on perks and stuff. I'm going to go in and approve emotes tonight on this account. So, yeah.
Hello, Marge. Who's in the box? Do we have a debate?
Dennis, appreciate it. Thank you. Also, why does it matter if Iran has nukes or not? Based on Republican logic, nukes don't unalive people. People unalive people. Dennis, appreciate it. That's actually great. I've been meaning to get around that for a minute. Trixie with the 5 gifted. Can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat? We got 31 out of the 30 dubs and drumsticks for Trixie. Appreciate it. Thank you. Trixie, thank you for the 5 gifted. All right, we're going to go ahead. I was going to turn the fan off here.
Do we have a debate?
But if you guys are enjoying it, this has been a pretty informative live, I think. If you guys are enjoying it, if you appreciate the information, there's a Venmo Cash App in the bio. It's also entertaining. Usually it's more funny than this, but I had a long day. So, but if you guys support or want to support that, if you guys enjoy it, there's a Venmo Cash App in the bio. You can sub on any one of the platforms. You can sub over on Patreon too. Is the best place to sub. Would appreciate it. But yeah, or you guys can give subs as well. Or how about with the coin goal? So
can he hear me? This is a good question.
Today was probably a really long day. Yeah, it was a really long day. What time was I even up
talk about
at?
My 8.5-inch leg.
I was up at 7.
Oh. Well, what do we have here?
I was up at 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Up at 7? What were you doing?
I wake up
me.
at 8, 7:30, 8. So probably 7 to 8:30 every
That's
single.
right, you sloppy fuck.
Are you talking to me?
What? You weren't answering anything I was saying.
You're teacupped, right?
No.
You're teacupped.
What the fuck? No, I'm not. Did you not hear? I was speaking the whole time.
Yeah. Towards you, like, what were you doing? I don't know.
I was just asking if we had a
I have
debate.
no idea. What were you even
wouldn't
saying?
Answer.
Yeah. And then, sorry. I was trying to add him
Am I
in.
still teacupped?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I wanted to debate this guy.
What's up?
Hello.
Hi, my name is.
All right, can you hear me?
What is going on? Are you debating? Jaden,
All right,
rejoin.
we'll be right back.
Rejoin. Yeah, your audio's lagging out. It's like way late. Okay. What is going on? What's your take?
America and Israel both had somewhat goodwill in the Middle East, and they were building up better relations until before October 7th.
Scotland?
Scotland, yeah.
All right. It makes sense. I can't understand anything you're saying.
Like, the countries like Saudi were getting to a place where they were signing treaties with Israel to normalise relations, and it was all going in a good direction until October 7th, when Netanyahu has just dragged this thing out to keep himself in power. And attacking Iran didn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
Because
so that's actually true. Is that we were Biden was in the negotiation process of telling telling Saudi Arabia and Israel that he would not sign off on a peace agreement unless they came to terms about what was supposed to happen with Palestine. And then immediately after that, literally 2 weeks, October 7th.
Yeah.
So.
Also, it's going to drive Iran right into China's arms. China has been brokering a kind of softening of relations with Iran and Saudi Arabia, including getting the Houthis and the Saudis to sign a peace treaty so the Saudis are no longer bombing the Houthis. This is only going to drive that closer together.
Yep.
Iran was never going to get into a bomb. The deal that Biden didn't take America back into in the 4 years it had was a good deal. Obama's deal was a good deal. The deal was that France would take the uranium from Iran and turn it into fuel rods, and Russia would take the plutonium away for the waste. So there wouldn't have anything there to make weapons. Once Trump took America out of the deal, Iran mostly kept the terms of the treaty, mostly, not entirely. They did incrementally break it, increasingly, to try and pressure America to go back into the treaty. But they still kept most of the terms, which is why they've kept that stockpile of enriched uranium. It's to trade it away at negotiations in exchange for sanctions relief. If they don't have that, they've got nothing to trade away in negotiations for sanctions. They weren't trying to get a bomb. If they wanted to get a bomb, they would have had one by now. They've not been making a delivery system for nuclear weapons since the early 2000s, and the IAEA report even states that. So I don't understand anything about the points or what America was trying to achieve here. All it has done is inflame tensions and drive their enemies to hate them even more and into their enemies' arms rather than getting to a better place. So America
not only that, but it runs the risk of activating sleeper cells and encouraging proxy groups to attack.
Pardon?
I said it runs the risk of activating sleeper cells, if there are some, and we don't know definitely that there aren't, but also encouraging proxy groups funded by Iran to attack U.S. bases, personnel, allies, whatever the case may be.
They will, because Iran's not stupid. It knows it can't beat America in a slugging match. Like, it's not going to go toe-to-toe with America and win. So what's it going to do? Guerrilla warfare. It's the only warfare that wins when you're that outmatched. Look at Afghanistan. Look at Vietnam. That's what they'll do.
All right. Yeah, well, hey, we're going to see if we can get a...
So they're playing smart, but...
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's appreciate you coming in.
America's just not smart at all. They're so... Americans are just...
We know!
I'm not saying, but Americans are just talking about themselves. They've actually done themselves a huge disservice by not learning about other people, because it makes them make stupid decisions like this that are so...
Yeah.
So like, everyone else is just puzzled. Like the whole rest of the world, they're just puzzled with what's happening, what logic is driving it.
Sorry.
In America, people like left and right. You don't have a left party and a right party in America. You've got a far right party and a centre right party. So
you've got pretty much.
You've got bad and worse.
Windows swung pretty hard.
You get bad and worse, not anything else.
All right, well, hey, we're gonna see if we can get some opposition here, okay?
Yeah, I'm going to go. See you later, man.
All right, take care. Thank you. Ugh, oh man, I'm tired.
1 second.
I'm ready to eat those groceries I bought today. Gonna eat those groceries like their name is Booty. Well, Been a slow day, but I don't mind. It beats the craziness. Gonna have a packed ass couple of days coming up. All these drag queens want me to take their picture. I need to start charging more. Shit's expensive. You can't ask me to get dressed up looking sexy as fuck to come out and take a picture for you for free. I need compensation.
Lydia, appreciate the gifted sub over there. Lydia, could we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for Lydia? Jelen, appreciate the resub of the Prime over on Twitch for 10 months. Appreciate it, Lydia and Jelen. Thank you. We're going to do... How quick can we make the roundup? Do you think we could do it in... Wait, what stories? Let me see what stories you got.
Yeah.
Was it sent over...
Instagram. I use a Rebel T7. And my phone. The phone yields some very nice results,
you send it?
all things considered.
Where'd you send it on Insta?
It's in the group chat.
Oh, right there. Maybe do the first two. I don't know. You just want to go through them and then we'll just stop at which ones?
Okay.
We'll just stop at which ones we want to do. I don't know that I have that much to say about them, but 1 second. Let me get the recording.
Okay.
All right. Jaden, you got the news for us? The roundup?
That I do. More than 30 people were arrested at Senate building while protesting Medicaid cuts. U.S. Capitol Police officers arrested 34 people Wednesday who were demonstrating against Congress's proposed cuts to Medicaid inside a Senate office building. Advocates and people who depended on Medicaid for their health care coverage, including several people in wheelchairs, traveled as far away as Florida for the die-in protest inside the rotunda of the Russell Senate office building. Many protesters wore black t-shirts that read, "Health care cuts will kill," in bold white lettering. They repeatedly chanted, "No cuts to Medicaid," as officers lined them up and escorted them out of the building. Seems as though there's a lot more emphasis on arresting protesters who are disabled and will die from these cuts than there are manic, crazy people who think Trump won the election, but that's just my opinion there.
Yeah, of course, because, protesting is so terrible. They have to arrest people in wheelchairs. Like, why not I don't know why can't we just let people do it? They're not doing it. Just leave them there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're not harming anybody.
Yeah, I hate that, where they're just like, we have to force the law. It's like, no, just let it go. Like, it's like Karen stuff, you know what I mean? Like, you can't do that. That's against the law. Like,
right.
Chill out, Karen. It's not that serious. Like, it's so what? They're doing it the weird way. Like, what is it? Yesterday, I was driving in a parking lot and someone came in the wrong way. And then I had to, move over to the side. I didn't even have a thought about it. I was like, oh. So if I was a Karen, I'd be real pissed off right now. It's just like, oh, and waved them by. And they were a Tesla, so I shouldn't have done that. I should have Karened out on them, and I didn't. Sorry.
It's sad. It is sad. It's estimated that some 51 additional premature deaths per year are likely to arise from these Medicare and Medicaid cuts. And these are the very people, the people who were arrested today, may very well be in that direct line. And of course, these representatives don't care. McConnell put out a statement the other day saying that his constituents are calling up his office with concerns about this and said that they would, quote, get over it. This is not a party that really desires health and well-being and prosperity of our society. They actively want people to die for some reason. Maybe it's a religious argument, maybe it's just that they simply don't care, a sociopathic one, but these people don't have a baseline level of human empathy for the suffering, for the disabled, for the infirm and the sick, and it's disgusting. Yeah, they were zip-tied on their way out.
Awesome.
Yep. So
swell. What do you got first for the next story?
Let's see what we have here. We've got some news out of NATO. Let me pull that up. Here we go. NATO allies agree to higher 5% defense spending target. NATO allies on Wednesday agreed to more than double their defense spending target from 2% of gross domestic product to 5% by 2035, in the most decisive move from the alliance in more than a decade. In a joint declaration, the Western military bloc said that it was united in the face of profound security threats and challenges, in particular the long-term threat posed by Russia and Euro-Atlantic security and the persistent threat of terrorism. Allies commit to invest 5% of GDP annually on core defense requirements as well as defense and security-related spending by 2035 to ensure our individual and collective obligations, it continued. The 5% is made up of at least 3.5% of GDP that would be spent on pure defense, with the remainder going to security and defense-related critical infrastructure to ensure, the statement said, our civil preparedness and resilience, unleash innovation, and strengthen our defense industrial base. Now, as the numbers stand right now, something like 9 out of the 32 NATO nations are not paying their required 2% or more. I don't really care that much about that, but if the argument is that they're not paying enough, raising that to more than double is certainly going to put people on the back foot here and will not encourage them to pay any more than they already are. It's a struggle as it is. And he chastised Spain for not reaching the requirement. But this isn't going to, this doesn't encourage more people to pay in. If anything, more would be dropping out or not meeting that requirement.
Yeah. And then they run into the problem of austerity cuts because they're going to have to try and make the money back somewhere. I will say, I don't think they're ever going to reach that target. That is insanely high. That's a huge, huge amount of money. I don't think they're going to reach it. I think it's just appeasement. I think it's 100% just appeasement. They're not gonna do it. There's no way. I mean, we have the most military money that we spend in the world. I think we have the highest even by GDP. It's like 4.8% or something. We're not even at 5%. Right? It's an incredible cost on people, and the reality is, it's kind of dumb, right? Because like you could say, like, here's the reality, right? It's not likely the United States or Europe is going to be involved in a ground war with Russia anytime soon. I think that it's set the stage for it because they're an isolated nation now, but they're still restrained by trade restrictions. They're still restrained by other countries not wanting a full-blown invasion. Like, the only country that could really fund them to do that and provide them with the manufacturing capacity to do it would be China. And China doesn't want anything to do with that. They want to be able to sell. They want to sell to Europe. That's their goal. That's what they want to do. So it doesn't seem like it's going to go anywhere. It seems like it's a complete pointless thing. But also, a lot of the money that we're spending on are these big expensive projects, right? They're these big expensive projects. The problem is that, like with all tech, the cost eventually comes down, right? Because we learn a cheaper way to do it, because the process of building it has been paid off, the way in which we manufacture it, there's no longer that overhead, or we're able to make it easier, cheaper, better, whatever. So we invested in response to this war in Ukraine, we invested a lot of money in air, right? Prior to that, that was our goal. We wanted air dominance, air superiority. It makes sense. You get in the air, whatever. But what we learned from this war was that we don't actually need to invest as much because surface-to-air missiles are incredibly effective. And you can make a lot of them for relatively cheap compared to what it costs to planes. You can put up a whole ton of these systems to take out aircraft and shut down the airspace. Where those planes really come in handy is not really in a pitched battle. It's going to be either after the fact, or it's going to be when you're fighting off, like some random conflict somewhere in the world. That's where they're going to be the most effective, because they really haven't shown very much effect in Ukraine. Granted, they don't have the same systems we do, but it's a similar principle. You can make surface-to-air missiles really cheap. We found out was you need more artillery. We need more artillery, more ground stuff, more guided precision munitions on the ground. They can take out planes. They can go places. We need investment in drones. And these things are significantly cheaper than the way we're currently operating. And running a defense when you're using drones, doesn't matter how good your AI systems you develop are, doesn't matter how good your drone systems develop are, eventually there's a saturation. I can't remember what it's called, but there's a saturation point where you have so much in the airspace that it doesn't matter what tech you have, you're just not going to stop it, right? So we can produce like millions of drones. In the future, that's what's going to happen. We're going to have entire drone swarms. China's already testing them out, and it's going to drop down the cost, right? The war in Ukraine has largely been dropped down to a few $100 drones, That's been the extent of it. They don't really bring in aircraft. It's not as often that they do that. They use artillery, sure, to try and stop major formations and people from moving, but largely it's drones. And that doesn't cost a lot of money. And running defense with those things is going to be significant. So I think that this 5% mark is complete BS. I think it's a matter of appeasement. I think they all got together and went, this ain't ever going to happen. There are some countries that are going to try and do that, though. Obviously, Poland's one of them. But that's kind of the long and short of it. It doesn't make a lot of sense to invest this much more money because a lot of the stuff that we're going to have in the future is going to be ran off AI systems. It's going to be cheaper. We don't have to worry about, we're not going to have to worry about troop safety with whatever we build. It's not going to be a component. It's just going to be protecting the equipment. So you can make really cheap stuff to send out there on the battlefield. You can make really cheap drones. And the cost of this stuff is inevitably going to go down based on what we have. So 5% is kind of stupid. There's no real reason for it. I think it just kind of handcuffs our GDP that could be going to other stuff that would help boost our economies in that way, and really just delving into fascism here.
And
fascist manufacturing of war production.
Yeah. It is appeasement through and through, and no such instance would emphasize that more than what happened today, as NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte surprised reporters today by calling Trump Daddy in a moment of levity in a serious NATO summit. As the two leaders greeted each other before reporters ahead of meetings, Trump drew a question about the profanity he used a day earlier to chastise both Israel and Iran for violating a recently brokered quote-unquote ceasefire, and his comparing them to unruly children. He says they've had a big fight like school kids in a schoolyard. They fight like hell. You can't stop them. Let them fight for about 2-3 minutes. Then it's easy to stop them, Trump said in a press appearance alongside Rutte, echoing he had used the same language to describe Ukraine and Russia. Rutte took the fighting analogy a little bit further and said, quote, Daddy has to sometimes use strong language. That is cringe as hell. It's cringe. He was asked to follow up as to whether or not he viewed NATO members and allies as his children. He deflected, but this is weird behavior on a global scale, and I expected more backbone from our allies, from these countries, to actually stick it to them, but no, they've capitulated. They've decided that appeasement is the route they want to take with Trump 2.0, and it's concerning. Is how far are they going to let this run?
Did you read his Mark Rutte's response?
Yeah.
At all? Did you see that?
Yeah.
So, okay. So yeah, I mean, he's trying to put it in the perspective of like, he's like, I didn't call. He's saying like the United States. Basically the whole thing was the EU kind of treats America like daddy. Is daddy going to say it's okay? He wasn't talking about Trump. Mm-hmm. So, just for clarification, I went to go actually look that up, so I'm not sure if you covered that part. So yeah, it's really cringe.
He said it was a matter of taste while asserting that that he does in fact deserve immense credit, which no, he doesn't.
I deserve all of the credit. We got a couple more stories.
That I do. Let's see what else we've got here. Yes, keeping in line with fascist dictatorial language, Trump calls for the firing of a CNN reporter over Iranian nuclear damage report. Trump on Wednesday called for the firing of CNN correspondent Natasha Bertrand, who reported on air that the internal U.S. intelligence assessment found Saturday strikes on Iranian nuclear sites set back Tehran's nuclear program only by a few months. The Post reads, Natasha Bertrand should be fired from CNN. I watched her for 3 days doing fake news. She should be immediately reprimanded and then thrown out like a dog, Trump wrote on the Truth Social platform. This is the President of the United States, and this follows a trend of reckless and incendiary language and behavior from the last few hours, frankly, not even days. But the man is unhinged. He's calling out reporters and asking them to be fired over a disagreement.
Yeah, this is part of. Yep, this is what he's gonna do. Inevitably, this is gonna reach a head at some point. I talked about this early on, but it was gonna reach a thing where his regime is gonna have to collapse. Right? There's gonna have to be this cataclysmic failure that's indefensible, where he's just getting attacked from all angles, and that's really gonna open up the media to be like, okay. right? Where it's like America's against this guy as well. Where he's already lost various court cases going after people, and there's enough pressure against him that he can't single anyone out, right? Sort of like a mob mentality type thing. But unfortunately, unfortunately, I don't know. At least for that being the case with the media and the media not appeasing him, is that he removed the tariffs, the policies that he had, he's given up on, right? And so the things that would cause an immediate collapse of the United States economy, tariffs, the extent of tariffs he had, isn't there anymore. So it's really prolonged what's inevitably going to happen in terms of the economy, in terms of what he's done to the structural, the sledgehammer he took to various different agencies. These things are going to take time to manifest, and it's going to be difficult. Unfortunately, nobody's really calling him out on anything because he's doing this thing where he's like, oh, I did this, that, and the other. And then as it turns out, he didn't get anything for it, and they just run it on the news, But we've seen them like correct his words and headlines and stuff so he doesn't look stupid. It's wild. This is insane. And yeah, I mean, can we just reflect for a second? What a failure of Mitch McConnell and the Republicans. They could have stopped this in 2020. They could have stopped this. It's like, the doctor that created Frankenstein.
Yeah. This is a Frankenstein monster run amok.
Got a couple more stories.
Yep.
I think I'll just let you get through these ones because I don't think I have anything to add to them.
No problem. Let's see what we've got here. This is really the last major story here for today. Smoking engine from an American Airlines flight. Let's see here. American Airlines plane makes an emergency landing after engine starts smoking. A video shows dark smoke trailing behind the Airbus A321 before it returned to the airport. American Airlines plane made an emergency landing in Las Vegas on Wednesday after smoke and sparks were seen spewing from one of its engines. American Airlines Flight 1665 was forced to return to Harry Reid International Airport in Las Vegas shortly after takeoff due to a mechanical issue, the airline said in a statement. Video from an eyewitness shows dark smoke trailing behind the plane's engine midair. Sparks should also be seen going off from the right engine. I don't have too much to say from this, but it's scary that this has happened so many goddamn times.
Yeah, I mean,
keeps happening.
We're going to see what's going to happen with the airlines. I don't really know how the infrastructure works there, but I'm just concerned that, like, you remove government officials overseeing taking care of planes, and then it's completely reliant on no federal regulators. Like, you're just missing a step there. Or, like, not even no federal regulators, but, like, they're taking cuts. It's miserable already. There's issues with air traffic control. It doesn't really seem to be getting resolved. I mean, I listened to an air traffic controller on TikTok talk about the issues. And I mean, it makes sense. Like, you cannot have mental health issues or anything come up and talk about it because it can be used against you as an air traffic controller. Right? Which is like, that's a weird thing, right? Obviously, we want them to be able to work. We don't want them to do something crazy or go crazy. Like, most people won't. Most people deal with mental stress and emotions and, you know, mental fatigue or whatever. And in some professions, you can't talk about it. And that's detrimental. I really think there needs to be some new guidance on that, some way we can work around this. I know that they've made changes to certain things. Like with pilots, they've been looking at ways to make changes to that, but it just hasn't crossed over to air traffic control. And, yeah.
Yep.
It's created a lot of fatigue on the system, and we'll see how it works out. Is that all of our news for today?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
That's all
Awesome.
I've got.
That was your roundup. Cool. All right. Well, we got that all done. Awesome. It was a good segment. It's cool. Creating a lot of stuff. I do think I'm gonna add. I'm getting extra debates. I think I want to move those over to OK High just to post.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll help viewership. I don't know what it'll do, but I don't know. I thought I would just move over there because I got 2 weeks worth of debates up or a week and a half worth of debates up, and a lot of the debates that I'm getting are, Like, a couple of them I haven't even run through, like, to pull clips.
Mm-hmm.
Because one, I have a ton of clips, but two, also, So I just thought maybe I'd post them over there. Just a thought. I do though,
right.
for real. The next 5 days, I have like literally the next 5 days, I have a video on shorts coming out every hour. And there's more that's also coming out that's scheduled in that time frame, like 3 other ones. So I just was like, fuck, I got so many clips I just got to get rid of, and then I just threw them in there. So there's that. By the way, if you guys want to support the channel, would appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoy the live. It's a little more structured. Jaden, for your purposes, I'm gonna have a printout here. I don't know if you have a printer, but I'm gonna have a printout here of
Okay.
library it is. That's gonna like show the breakdown of what we're gonna do in, you know, just sort of, it doesn't have to be in any specific order, any specific time, but it'll just be like, these are the things that we need to do. It'll obviously we want to go in order, but you know, like I'll have like, these are the news stories, and we can just write them out, and that way everybody can sort of track what's going on, and that's in the lives that we know. So
Okay.
I don't think there's
Anthony
gonna be that
Scott brought
much,
it up. He
but,
said he
you know,
had something related to the background.
Okay, but yeah,
I think your favorite
I don't think
user's
it's a
in the
debate.
box.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I know he's back again
Hey guys,
every day.
Hey.
Jade, it's Sam by that. I don't. Yeah. Hey, do you remember how I brought up a couple months ago?
Yeah. Through where? Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. Is this really quick? Is this is it, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Is this, I'm just curious, is this the US semiconductor industry? Is this related to him trying to dismantle the CHIPS Act, or is this just, curious to know what's happening? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, really quick. Wait, nobody can hear? No, hold on. Can you guys hear on YouTube? Or you can't hear the caller?
Oh, they can't hear
Oh,
you?
there we go. You guys, is that good? Can you talk
Test.
now, Anthony?
Better? Worse?
Testing 1 2.
Can you hear now? He
Testing.
said that there was layoff. Just catch you guys up. Is it good? I'll explain what happened in a
Yeah, it's
second. But
basically for the
he's
last
saying
few
that
months.
Trump. Yeah.
Oh
no, he
yeah, so
basically saying that
because he
Trump
did
cut
that. Oh,
off,
sorry.
or that China cut off. Sorry, I don't know. I think there's an audio link. He said that Trump cut off, or got cut off because of his aggressive actions. Stuff that we need. We need rare earth, and we need various different gases, materials, stuff like that, so that we can build semiconductors in the United States. China cut us off from them, and so he's been affected
Yeah.
by the layoffs.
And
Sorry,
I knew it was bad a
I
couple
didn't.
months ago.
Oh,
Maybe delay might be on my end, but I knew it was bad a couple months ago when we had our quarterly meeting, and they opened the floor for questions at the end. I stood up and I was like, "Hey," and I asked the manager of my building. I was like, "Hey, so this just happened. This was back when he got elected. This was like in November." And I was like, "Hey, this just happened. Are we prepared for this? Are we going to be okay?" And the manager of my building literally stuttered and went, And then looked to his left, and a damn executive stood up and took the microphone. And was like, "I think we're gonna be okay. I mean, we've got some stockpiles for now. We should be okay." And gave a very generic answer, and then immediately layoffs started, and now it's getting a lot worse.
It's
Like
it's
even TSMC has stopped building their they're finishing the physical building in Arizona for their plant.
mhm.
They are no longer buying machines, and they've stopped hiring employees.
Ooh.
Yeah, because he
That's
wanted to
bad.
dismantle. I know, yeah, and it was one of those things where it's just like this is so detrimental. Like people don't understand what happens if we get cut off of chips. We go back to this. We might as well be in the Stone Age. And I mean, we saw what happened during COVID, where chips, TSMC was not producing the amount of chips that they had been previously, and used car prices skyrocketed because auto manufacturers couldn't find the chips. They needed, I think, 1,000, it's
It-
somewhere between 1 and 2,000 a car, and they couldn't find them. So
People
used car
were
prices
paying over
skyrocketed.
sticker price for brand new cars too.
Yeah, like significantly. So this is big, and there wasn't obviously there was consumer demand early on, but obviously there were a lot of things that skyrocketed in price because the demand went up to such a degree, and they had to restart whatever. But yeah, the Chips Act is the only. I mean, I've been thinking about this. I actually thought about this today, but the Chips Act is really the only thing that is going to protect America from the dominance that China has on I mean, like they don't have the chips yet, but they have everything else. We have nothing.
So the way that they've got their own homebrew chips that they've started doing
Yeah.
semiconductor wise,
Hmm.
but like their flagship microchip was like, if you know anything about graphics cards, was the equivalent of like the GPU chip or the main processing chip for a GT 710 graphics card. And that was like 3 years ago. They are way behind on everything. And there's this weird contractual thing that these companies like Text Instruments and Intel have where they do make some chips in China and factories there to cut costs on shipping and stuff. But now those companies aren't getting anything. Where like normally, if you have a business and you have a building in China, Chinese government has full access, anything they want. It's like I want to see these papers. They can go and whatever they want. These companies are kind of exempt from that, but now they're kind of at a stranglehold where China's just sitting there like, maybe if you give me some access to this stuff, maybe
Yeah.
I'll think about resuming the supplies again.
Yeah,
It's like,
you know what's funny is that I had this thought a long time ago where I was like they were sitting there talking about the invasion of Taiwan or whatever, and China obviously wants it for more than the chips, but I was thinking like, okay, they could invade Taiwan. And I was like, at this point, this is like 2 years ago or so, a year and a half ago, I was like, what if they just blew up TSMC? It would be detrimental to them. They don't have access to larger chips. Like, what if that was their solution? Because at a certain point, right? And by the way, this was I had this thought, and then I ended up reading an article by an expert that was like, what if they just blew the plant up? So I wasn't the only one to have the thought, but I was like, this is a really really logical thought, right? Like, China is getting better at producing chips. At a certain point, they're going to be on pace or better than American manufacturing. At which point, TSMC is just an inhibition.
15 years is the expected timeline for them to be on par, because they are advancing fast, but it's still because of how far behind they are. Um,
Well, what
they're
chips are
not
made in
expected to
the
be at the
U.S.?
same spot as us until another 15 years.
Right? Because but I mean, in terms of like Taiwan, right? But like if you compare it to U.S. chip manufacturing, if they cut off supplies
Hmm.
and
They
they
make us
blow
more
up
dependent on
TS
Taiwan.
right, and they blow up TSMC,
Well, they don't even
who
have to,
wins?
because here's the thing. Here's the thing. They don't even have to. They obviously want Taiwan for the chip manufacturing plants themselves, but the Taiwanese government has basically openly stated that if Chinese troops actually make landfall and they look like they even might get access to the factories, they'll just blow up the factories themselves.
Right.
If I
So
can't have it, if I can't have it, you can't have it. Ba boom.
right. So and also China produces that rare earth. So couldn't they just start cutting off Taiwan from it? And being like slowly
Um,
just I mean, but couldn't they just slowly like they
I
don't even
don't
they're just
know
like
how.
slowly
I actually don't
removing.
know where TSMC gets their supplies from.
So I know that the I don't know where all of it comes from. I know that some of it doesn't come from China, but I mean some of it has to, right? I don't know the degree that it does, but like certainly they could start shutting off some rare earth that's going to affect chip production and like slowly like moving the market to them. Like, oh, TSMC doesn't have it, we do, right? Or we have a comparable chip, or we have something. Like I know that they're behind. Their chips aren't up there yet at all. But at a certain point, and I also think it's like sort of, it's kind of like the law of diminishing returns too, right? Like an M1 chip is only slightly worse than an M2, right? And
The
an
the
M1
difference is
chip,
TSMC's quality. It's
I
we make
know,
good
I
chips
know.
here in America. It's their QC process and their standard is bar none.
No,
They
I
blow
know.
us out of the water.
I know. I'm just saying like from the larger perspective, like if you have an M1 chip, right? There's not much less you're going to be able to do than if you have an M4, right? Because the processing speed is so good. So like for most applications, like except for like defense or research or whatever, the normal chip, like consumer grade chips now would be beneficial.
It's not the capability of the chip that's the main drawback and why people don't want to buy certain stuff. Like the reason even if China's chips right now were on par, China's major problem is energy consumption and thermal tracing. So China's chips, although again they're behind, even if they were on par today, the power consumption is way too high. Their thermal output is way too high. So even if they had chips that were performance wise comparable, it would cost too much to run them and it would cost too much to maintain them.
Fair.
That's their main issue right now, quality aside.
Okay. Yeah, I think at a certain point there's real concern there that China's chip production is going to be at least, I mean, it's kind of like this, right? Like they don't produce the best quality shit, but they produce good enough quality shit. You know what I mean? That for like the average
Yeah,
everyday
they can get
user,
consumer stuff. They're not going
right?
to get the industry stuff, but
Oh yeah, I
like
know they're not going
Nvidia
to
is
get,
not going to
yeah.
go with the Chinese chip for a data center
No, no,
for
no.
when they need low power usage, but they can
Yeah.
definitely get consumer products.
No, I want to be clear. Like I think that like when you're talking like China's nowhere near advanced chip status. I mean, it's not. They're not even close. But if they can get to a thing where they're like, they're producing consumer grade, like world consumer grade
Yeah.
chips, they're in a more advantageous position where if TSMC does go down and we fail on the CHIPS Act, we fail to bring that manufacturing here, they're in the driver's seat. And there's a lot of stuff they can do, right? Where they can slowly chokehold Taiwan, they can, invade and they'll destroy the factory and whatever. And so then China again becomes one-stop shop for everything tech. I think it's a really bad position that the Trump administration has put us in. I think the CHIPS Act is one of the most important bills of the last 20 years. I think it's so incredibly important. It might be real for the future of America. It might be the most important bill we've ever produced. I don't think it was enough, but I think it was a significant amount that it boosted that here. But if we fail on this, like America's fucked. Like America's real fucked. We're gonna end up being Europe.
And it's dude, they started by firing people with the most experience that got paid more. Like they're trying to cut costs so bad that they started firing people with 15, 20 plus years of experience. And then all of a sudden the mass waves of layoffs came out. And it's not even like they're picking people based on experience because Texas, like especially like in Texas where I'm at, they don't need to give a reason for firing. They're just straight up drawing names from a hat. Doesn't matter. Just shotgun blast, fire from the hip, fire whoever. We'll save money across the board.
Yeah. Well, it's unfortunate. All right.
Welcome to our economy.
Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you, Trump, for making my life better.
This guy said, "Go get a job washing dishes," and then his bio literally says, "Be nice, believe in karma."
You know what job he'll be working next?
I know your life's miserable. Anyways, Anthony, I appreciate you for coming in. Appreciate it.
Yeah, good to hear from you.
Take it, man.
Yep. See you guys.
Don't you guys just love winning? The chips aspect of it is really, really, but I do think that that's like a real concern of mine is that I don't think China's there yet, obviously. I don't know how far out they are. I've seen some reports showing that they're 3 years behind. Some indicate more. Really depends on who you want to believe, whatever. But at a certain point, if we don't invest in this, and they do, they're going to be second only to TSMC, right? And what happens when a corporation finds a way to take down their competition? They do. And if TSMC goes down, all of the United States military industrial complex, you think about the planes that run on these chips, the aircraft, the chips they got running AI systems, all gone.
China, as if we're not already seeing disasters with planes happening right now.
And China controls 86% of all rare earth. They have a virtual monopolization on the separation technology to pull, various different rare earth metals. And we haven't done anything. This is one of the things Biden identified. Thank God. You can say a lot, whatever. If you want to say as much bad shit about Biden as whatever, I don't care. The one thing you have to give him credit for is the first thing he did when he came in office was identify this as a problem. And a big one. It was the very first thing. Literally, like the first day, he put together a commission to figure out how we're going to source rare earth, how we're going to fund the foundries. List goes on.
Well, I'm about done here.
Yeah, I just moved my neck and my back messed up in a weird way. I don't know what that was about. I was like, oh, what the hell?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah.
I just sat back and then I got tired.
And hungry. Yeah. I didn't have caffeine today, so like 4:30 I was like, what's going on? So I had to go get caffeine. I also had a headache. I've had a headache most of the day, so is life. Anyways, if you guys want to go watch, by the way, on YouTube, I'm going to go post this video. If you guys could do me a solid and you could go watch it, I would appreciate it. Because I'm trying to build up viewership over here. So if you guys could take a minute to go watch this video I'm going to post in the thing, I would appreciate it. We're going to call it for the night. There is news over on OK High in the bio on the YouTube, as well as the News Dude YouTube. Both of those have content coming out on a daily basis. If you guys like news, you like debates, there's something there for you. And yeah, I'm going to upload the roundup and yep.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. See you tomorrow.
Take care.
Take care, everybody.
Just going to add these two to the playlist. Oh, man. These all on there. Okay. All right. I'm going to take this. If you guys want to go watch this over on YouTube, I'll pin it. Where is it? Who are we rating on TikTok? Why is there no share button? Oh, because I can't share it because that's the wrong video. Is that one scheduled? All right, so this is the one over here. You guys want to go watch that on your way out? It's over on OK High. Just go watch the videos, you know. Just go watch the videos over there. Help me get some watch hours. Would appreciate it. Help me get it out to some people, and I'll send it over the thing. All right. There's a lot of stuff I have to click through. All right, guys. It's been a good live. We hit the sub goal. Get some dubs on the way out, and I will see you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific. No, it's a playback thing. All right, everyone. Take care. I will see you tomorrow.